everyone. Welcome to today's live episode of Let's Talk FGO. I almost did the wanted intro for some reason. No, it's not what we do here. I don't say on this show. But, hello, hi. Today, we're going to talk to you about sweater weather. Putting on a comfy sweater. Possibly a Virgin Killer sweater. Though I don't own any of those. Do you own any of those, chat? Hi. But also, we're going to talk to you about RYOMA'S Narrow Escape. I almost called it the Japanese name, too. Damn it. This is what I get for staring at the OBS control panel while we do this. The script. Anyway, I'm Omega. He's lucky. We're dying.
Well, aside from that, I hope everyone is enjoying Fate Grand Order, aka Sweater Weather. And while we here at Make like to bring you the latest NetGeo-related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events for both the JP and EN version of the game. So anyone not wanting spoilers should keep the fires going.
Yes, indeed. Okay, I have seen transition to show notes. We have show notes vision today. Because I was the one who decided we should stream. And so I shall run it from that end. But that means you get to follow along in the show notes. And you can see if I made an error anywhere in it. Hopefully not. But before we go on down through any of that other stuff, real quick, I would like to remind everybody about this episode being brought to you by our patrons. So let me make sure Be sure to let me know how I sound, chat, as you filter right now. It's been a little while since I streamed Let's Talk FGO for my end. So let me know if everything's balanced out all right. Anyway, before we go any further, I would like to remind everybody this episode is brought to you by our patrons, like Adam DeHart, Blacklist OG, Call Me Zed, Carlos, Dragon, Flightless Icebird, Jeremy Vasquez, JDV 9000, Just the Fage, Jonathan Sandoval, Starlight, Legendary Boss Hunter, Liam Kessler, Regent Raptor, Rise of Kenji, Rogue Robin, Trevor, Sean Pyre, some guy named Bob, and Baron the Crow, and many more. If you like what we do want to see us do more, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early and lots of other goodies, and it really helps us out. Thank you for your support, everybody.
Thank you.
And now, as you can see at home, I have done the bit at the top of the show that I say is important to remember to do yonder Patreon bump. I've done it.
Ta-da!
Yeah. But yes, so the episode is live because I wanted to bring it to you in a timely manner and not delay it by like a day. Because it do be like that sometimes. But we're here now.
It do.
And we're ready to rock it on in. So hopefully everybody in chat is doing okay. Nice. Yeah, okay. No, that's... The audio mixing is separate from my visual kerfuffle. So yeah, you're good. All right.
Nice.
Yeah. Just double checking that everything was all right. Yes, we've seen transition. You can see this spot. Chat's down there in the corner. Feel free to see your messages. And, well, I guess that means it's time to check in with everybody's favorite Kohai, Mesh.
Senpai, 起きてください.
Because since we've been streaming for about 5-ish minutes, I can say, hello, welcome to Wake the Fuck Up Senpai, regular segment for pro tips. This one's very simple, but is apparently something that some people forgot. Hey, if you want to do the new GUDAGUDA event, you have to clear Lost Belt 5.5. You must beat Heian-kyo for it to count. So just letting everybody know if you're a little behind. I believe, as previously covered on the show, there is a main story clear campaign. I can turn that to main cleary. It's okay. But there's story support for you to finish it faster, so go ahead. I think they even included some new leyline stones you can buy up, so, you know,
Yes.
You're good. No help to me. Main story's all cleared. And I don't think you get to use... Do you get to use Spirit Vein stones, leyline stones on Tunguska? Does anybody know?
I'm going to assume not.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. So, yeah. It's going to be
I
wild.
think they're going to expire before then.
Oh, they might also... Yeah, it's also true. They might actually expire before it anyway.
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I know that Tunguska gets added to main interlude before it gets any reruns. So it's all fine. But it's still an interesting one out there. Also, hopefully everything is displaying okay. As usual, my little live time counter is not synced up in the YouTube control room, so it gets to be slightly awkward. But that means we can move swiftly on to Records from the Throne over regular Achivo Topico. That's a records poll. Looky.
Well, that's me. And just for me this week, it's only going to be the fact that I was able to protect Aussies and Carrie Smile using all the XPs I was getting from Friendpoint Gotcha.
Friendpoint Gotcha, GUDAGUDA Fields. The game just wanted you to do dailies. Yeah, I haven't been keeping up on that, but that's good. Catching up those.
Yarp.
But yes, no evils or further things from that. You know, it's just happening right now. We're vibing. We're vibing. We'll hear more about vibes later, I'm sure. By the way, the mailbag is still technically open. You have until I finish reading the news and we get to that part to put it in there. So if you got anything at the last minute you want to submit, go for it. But all right, okay, that means we can move on to, did you finish your master missions? Because these do change every week, no matter what. Then they're very simple and generic this week. You need to defeat 15 of Sabercaster, 15 Archer Lancer, 15 Rider Assassin Berserker enemies, and that excludes servants or certain story bosses. Get 3 statues or skill gem drops, so get them through battles, and then complete 5 and 10 quests. So basically, a little bit of a tail end, do the event, and then currently we're experiencing, you know, I don't know. Right now I'm waggling my hands back and forth you can't see in some kind of, you know, I don't know gesture. I guess it's a little seasonal promo. The event we're doing right now, which I can, you know, we can move into Skelligrams. I won't say it in the voice anymore. It's not Halloween. But the quote-unquote Cozy Up for Winter campaign 2023, running from the 7th to the 14th of November. This is basically our million DL event we were working towards, so I'm guessing that we haven't passed a convenient and interesting download milestone in FGO. So they decided to rework it into just a little seasonal happy time. Scratch out a few banners. The irony is, even though Lucky made the joke about sweaters, I made the joke about sweaters. It's right there in my first bullet point. Sweaters on, kids. It was unusually hot today. It reached the 90s as a high for me in the middle of November, which is wild. It will luckily cool off future, but I am definitely not in sweater weather. But yeah, so this is basically the million DL that we were expecting up in there. Log in one day, you know, each day, every blah. Log in every day for a week, each day for 1 week, to get 10 of various things, culminating in 10 tickets, which is basically the equivalent of an 11 spin. There's also a cumulative login bonus, total login bonus during this time period to get things like rare prisms and other resources as well. If you were on our Discord, you can join the ping circle. I have not been pinging at everyone for this campaign, but some people have taken on themselves to give some reminders, so, you know.
Yep.
Your friends will let you know if you let them know, kind of a thing. But yes, we've got some extra stuff going on. There's some bonus missions to complete daily missions. Basically, you get extra rewards if you complete your daily missions to do quests, which normally gets you just the mana prisms. And so on and so forth. But also, during this time period, you've got all dailies open. There's no half AP, I believeth, but still, all dailies open so you can, you know, farm and cross-promote to your heart's content. Which makes it, you know, really easy to do both the extra missions to do quests every day and also those master missions to defeat all the different classes, because you can just, you know, punch hands or mobs or heckin' whatever.
Whatever floats the boat.
It's a very whatever set of master missions, so it's a very, you know, whatever you need to get the steez. All right.
Ugh.
Sorry, YouTube is bothering me to be like, hey, the post you just made has got, comments and likes. Isn't that nice? I'm like, yeah, it is nice. But also, I know YouTube. I may have that open on another tab so I can switch to it later for visual flair. But let's see. Yes, the daily missions. They've added some command codes to the MP and RP shop. So if you want to double up on some of your command codes, we've got a few of them in. I don't remember which ones exactly off the top of my head, but there's some of the regular campaign ones. Also, Gran Cavallo, if you did not have that already, has been added to the RP shop, so you can buy it back and then spend your mana prisms on it. That is a QPCE, so I believe that's a fairly popular one. I already owned that at MLB, but if you didn't, it's out there. We've also got some banners. As you would expect, Ibuki is up, being the, cover image for this event. And we've also got a Kentucky banner, and Suna is on rate up on both. So, got some limited 5 stars coming back. Both still very useful units. So, perfectly all right to tuck in there. But, there might be some new stuff around the corner, so maybe you hold on. Or don't. Ibuki's cool. I have both Ibuki and Kentucky. Thank you, various banners. So, I don't need to worry about it. But, yeah, it's there. Speaking of our various news and important banners, though. Also, it's not in the show notes because we already talked about it last week and the data hasn't changed. But I believe it's tomorrow. But we do have the broadcasting light coming up. Let me double check because I'm sure our... Oh, has that not been translated into a... Yeah, it hasn't been posted in our News Desk LCFGO block. All right, hold on. Then I will go straight to the source and fact check real quick. Fate-go.us for all your Fate-go needs. As a brief aside, because we can do those, is it Pokemon Go's fault that every mobile app from the early to mid 2010s tries to make Go work in their name? Do you think?
I don't know. I think it actually might have been before that. I don't know if Pokemon Go was the first one because I can't remember the actual release dates, but I remember Tomb Raider Go, fucking Hitman Go.
Yeah, that's right.
Pokemon Go, FGO. There's probably a few more, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm not sure which one entirely came first.
Well, I'll leave chat with that little breadcrumb. But yes, it will be broadcast at 1800 Pacific time on the 12th. So yes, tomorrow is when we get the light broadcast. They call it a broadcasting light. That will be presumably, info CM lead up for the upcoming event, the new GUDAGUDA RYOMA'S Narrow Escape. Now, I'm not entirely sure that will start exactly that, Monday. Given when the whatchamacallit, the Prepare for Winter ends, that's on a Tuesday night. We might still be waiting until Wednesday because, well, that's the 15th, and the pre-release we've got does say, hey, BT Dubs, mid-November, so you might have a couple extra days, but they're doing the broadcast on a Sunday. I don't know, if that's just easier for them. But it's coming. Yeah, no, I mean, again, aside, I always remember that, that's usually been a pretty strong case of, Nintendo to, work whatever console generation or mobile, they're on into the name of things. On the GBA, there were so many blah, blah, blah advanced games. Mario 64, obviously, on the N64. There were a lot of DS puns on the DS. But yeah, I somewhere along the way, we just decided that Go is the mobile phone app, suffix to use, and we used it. And I would love to figure out when and where. But on top of the broadcasting station, I said all that to bring it back around to the fact that FG will be in Anime NYC soon. Let me see. That's also not a news desk. So what? Hey. Actually, I can probably on what my computer still recognizes as twitter.com. Let me check the FGO USA Twitter because I don't have all the notes about it. Because they're going to be at Anime NYC. And we're going to have a couple of events. Yes, we have a panel for sure. That's going to be the 18th. So you got about a week. That'll be next weekend. And they do have some, it'll be 6 p.m. Eastern when that happens. It will be live streamed. They've got a YouTube link, so that's nice. And they've confirmed that the guests will include Haruki Ishii, voice of Beryl, Kengo Kawanishi, voice of Scandinavia Peppercino, and Nissan will be there. They're also going to do a booth talk and an autograph session as well with Nissan much earlier in the day. That's not going to be streamed because that's just going to be at the Aniplex, FGO booth. But they do look like they're going to do some little challenge quests and some other interesting little things there. So if you are going to Anime NYC, seems like it's going to be a good time. I'm going to guess, based on how FGO USA usually handles these things, that what we're going to see there will almost assuredly be like hard and fast facts on Thanksgiving, those banners and stuff like that, and then probably like maybe early promo for Christmas, because that's not as big of a deal this year since there's no new servant, no new SSR, I should say. There is a new welfare. That's nice. And, like, maybe some, like, tickling of Tunguska.
Tickling.
But I think that would still be a little too far in advance for them to be locking in anything, hard and fast there. A lot of people are, like, speculating and hoping we'll get some, quality of life updates because we're busting out Nissan. I don't think so. Thanksgiving is nice, but I don't know if we've ever gotten, like, big gameplay updates around then. They probably just save it for New Year's. But who knows? But yeah, Anime NYC got more stuff coming. I'm already, I'm in the prelims of the Okuni Wanted script, so that video will be out ere too long. And hopefully you can check it out then. But yes, for the Bulkaruni, that is going to be our news for now, as JP is still in the tail end of the Grailfront event. No signs of any extra banners currently, and no other updates. I don't think, and chat, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think JP has any streams on the line just yet. So no real hints about what we're doing next. I'm trying to remember. I know they... Like, for us in NA, the last time they did the broadcasting station light, they basically roadmapped, all right, we're going to do this Halloween event in October. We've got a new event in November, a new event in December. The November event required 5.5 clearance. That's GUDAGUDA. And the December event was going to require LB6 clear. That's Tunguska. By the way, hey, if you want to do Tunguska, you need to clear LB6 if you haven't done that yet. It's been like 6 months. You got to pick up the pace, baby. Okay, so yes, so JP hasn't opened up anything. I'm trying to remember if they roadmapped the last time they had not the last time they had a live stream, but did a recent live stream where they talked about what their plans were, because I know they announced they were doing a Grailfront event for sure next, and I'm trying to remember if there was another one detailed. If not, I suspect you will probably get your own JP, stream, mini broadcast or whatever to, lay out whatever things are happening in November. Because I'm sure they'll have something, but what it is, don't know. If they hold to their normal pattern, I'm pretty sure there will be one more ordeal call this year, like in December. So, that fits the usual format, but again, I don't. They could do that in a November, or they could not. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But that's going to be Skelligrams.
Skelligrams. So with that, let us move on over to this week's Let's Talk FGO Mailbag, the segment where we read what you have to say and comment accordingly. All right. So it says we have 6. I see 6. Omega, can you confirm these numbers?
Yes, I believe I just refreshed. Let me double check. Yes, I witnessed 6.
All right. Then we'll get started. Right. Meow. Our first one comes from a master listening to mellow jazz while enjoying some steamed rice with Himiko. Hey, Lucky and Mega, hope your evening is less stressful than your afternoon was. Oh, actually, I didn't actually get to mention it because I didn't think about it. The reason why I wasn't able around to record Let's Talk FGO yesterday was, first, I wasn't sure I was going to have the energy. I was tired. I worked a long week. I'm like, I'm kind of dead. I had told Omega, let me go get some food. Let me see how I feel. Lucky forgot that today was Veterans Day, and a couple of my friends was all like, yo, we got to treat you, Mr. Vet Man. I'm all like, no, guys, you really don't. I was like, we're going to go to Red Robin. I'm like, I haven't been to Red Robin in a long time.
Now they got you.
They got me. So I went to Red Robin, spent $50 in food and drink, and came home completely full and slightly intoxicated and kind of passed out afterwards. The food coma, the itis, it got me.
Yep.
So, apologize on that front.
Still, 6 is pretty all right considering this was, posted screaming into the evening.
Yep, screaming into the evening. It was a moment I forgot to redo it after the show, and I thought that I had, so yeah.
I mean, to be fair, like, when somebody posted about you doing it, I opened up the YouTube studio, I checked, and I was like, no, it's there. It's got 7 comments, and then I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, shit, that's last week's. Damn. Also, thank you, Chris Starlight, for saying the bit. Yum.
Oh my god, it was going through my head so many times. Just Red Robin, yum.
I don't know how they've done that. It's only 3 words, but yes. God knows when the last time I went to a Red Robin is, and I still remember that jingle.
Their food's pretty good. Literally a tower of onion rings. I'm all like, this is illegal. But they finish up with, I'm right here with you on the exhausted train, Lucky. Hope we can both recover soon. I recovered. I'm still like not hungry from all that food. I put something in my stomach just to make sure, but man, I woke up full. Oof. My weight scale is not gonna be happy with me. Like, we got onion rings, fried pickled chips, milkshakes, alcohol. Fucking, I got this something. I got a what was it? It was I can't remember what it was called, but it was a cheeseburger. And you got fondue to dip it in. I'm all like, this is gonna give me a fucking heart attack.
What?
And I fucking went for it.
Now I'm just imagining. I didn't even watch the full video. It's somebody in our general channel, because we debated if we need a Good Eats channel. The response seemed mixed.
Yeah.
But food ends up in our general channel in Discord a lot, and somebody posted a video of like just dipping a whole Hershey's chocolate bar in, like, it looked like a 5-gallon bucket of like caramel or something. And I'm just like, all right, cool. That's how you die. That's
It's
death.
true. Death. No, I'm actually quite happy with just changing their name to It's Robin. Especially since Robin didn't actually immediately realize it and had a moment of when they did. I was like, yes, good.
Yeah. Also, thank you, Orion Perez, for the super chat.
Yeah. They say late replying to the FGO anime NYNC thing, but I recall that when Nissan came last year for excuse me, Anime NYC, he did announce early pity for NA with Heian Kyo.
Okay. So yeah, we might have something in the can. We'll see.
I mean,
Mighty Chain.
we might have something in can. I'm like I said, I still don't think we're gonna get Grail casting early, but who knows what will pop up.
No, everybody has. I don't understand the context because I have not been spoiled about everything about Tunguska. Thank you.
Thank you.
But everybody we've talked to seems pretty insistent that it is somehow story related, or at least it is directly story unlocked, similar to Miss Crane's dressmaking shop. So yeah, unless they relocate when Tunguska happens so it's like right away in the front half of December, I don't think we can get it early. But
Oh man, I definitely wouldn't want it early then because then I have to wait even longer for Queen Sky of Darkness. I'm like, I don't want that.
yeah, no, it works. It works well when it flows into New Year's. So yeah, I don't think we'll do
Yeah.
that. But we could. I know a lot of people are asking for like the quick rework and Mighty Chains early. So if that's possible, we could do that. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. So let's move on. They have a remort here. I didn't realize it. Now I did. Yay, more paragraphs. They continue. My question this week is, what do we just like to see first? A collab with Samurai Remnant or Strange Fang? Given how well made the game was, I would love to have a Welfare Yori and see his reaction to all the people in Chaldea. Sending you the good vibes. Wah, 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 wah. And get ready to GUDAGUDA again. And of course, Nobunobu. P.S. Omega, what expansion would get you excited to play Master Duel again? For me, it'd be the new Supremus King support. Long live Zark.
You and Loth both, buddy. Well, I was a big fan of Z-Arc.
Oh, Z-Arc.
They wrote it.
How am I
Zark.
supposed to-
Yeah, I think you can say it both ways. I don't know.
I'm about to say, how am I supposed to know there's a space between it?
Yeah, the actual card's name is hyphenated.
Oh, it's hyphenated. Okay,
Yeah,
if it was hyphenated, I probably would went
Yeah,
Z-Arc.
it's written Z-Arc normally, but that's okay. People are typing fast. Well, to answer the PS first, since we got on that, they did it. They announced the new set, which included both Versus Soul, which is kind of like a fighting game archetype, and also Nouvelle, which is a archetype about demons running a restaurant that involves support for one of the silliest old ritual monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh!, Hungry Burger.
I
So
remember
that's
Hungry
it.
Burger.
I'm in now. I'm Bergen, baby. I have my deck. It's named Grill Master. I'm preparing it. We're having fun. I was also waiting on for them to do the Gate Guardian support, but I think that'll be later.
And me personally, with the before question, I would rather have a Fate Samurai Remnant collab first. Like I said, it has Strange Fake is, big and big storied, and everyone's been waiting for it. It's also still not done. Like,
Yeah.
still not complete, still going.
Any kind of Strange Fake tie-in would be inherently incomplete.
And that's a little strange. So I'd rather go with Samurai Remnant. I think I've talked about this. Actually, I know we talked about this, but what did I say about then? It's all like Saber.
Iori could be the welfare.
Yeah, I don't think Yuri should be the welfare.
He could be.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I've been thinking about things. But yeah, just Semi Remnant. It's a complete story. It's done its piece. We can we can pick out everything we want from it and keep going.
And it's the new hotness. I mean, they've got some DLC planned, but we haven't heard anything about that, I don't think. And
That is true. I wonder whatever happened
It's
with
been
that.
about a month. They're probably working on it. I mean, I can't imagine that they are like they are waiting on like reception or anything. The game reviewed quite well and sold pretty well as far as I know, and they're chugging.
Oh, actually, speaking of which, actually now that I think about it, did Samurai Remnant get any nominations in the Golden Joysticks Awards?
Well, I do have that in my What's Up notes later, so I'll be sure to check. Because I did want to
I
run
was
through
like,
the Golden Joysticks, because there were a few that were pretty choice.
Yeah, no, there were some good things in there, but like I'm just thinking about it. It's like I don't know if I actually saw any.
I also don't know because they were like just this past week. I don't know what the cutoff is for the Golden Joysticks.
Well, I remember this. Alan Wake 2 won the Critics Award, so
Okay, yeah. So at least, yeah. I don't like I said. I was planning on looking up the full list of like nominees and award recipients later. So I'll double check. But yeah, Samurai Remnant would definitely been the place for some noms, but I don't know too much for the Golden Joysticks. Exactly.
yeah. And the Video Game Awards over here in the U.S. won't release their nominations until Monday. Soon. But Yeah, I know. Like, there's plenty of servants to pull from through for a collab, and I don't think anyone's toes will be stepped on necessarily for it. I just give me my my 4-star Tamamo Aria. You know. Oh yeah, that's the reason why I didn't want a Yori. I don't want to have to compete with Yori over Tamamo Aria's affection. That's what. This is the reason why. This is why I can't waifu Simiram, is because I got a fucking Amakusa, and I'm just like, they act like they're a strange married couple that still have feelings for each other. I can't get in that. I have to watch that from afar.
Also, so hey, just we'll come back to this, but the I didn't realize the golden joysticks are fucking old. They're 40 years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
I think it's because I don't know how long they've been called the golden joysticks, because they were the People's Gaming Awards originally. They are based in England. I did not see if it got any noms, but Samurai Remnant definitely didn't win any awards this year.
Nope. I remember that. Well,
But
honestly,
check the nominations.
Honestly, like when it comes to games awards, I usually don't care as much who win. I just want to make sure that my game at least gets a nomination that people say, yeah, it's that good. That's usually what I'm about. Usually.
Well, Lucky, you will be happy, and several people in our chat will be happy. Spoilers: best indie game was Sea of Stars.
Sea of Stars, yes, it was.
Yeah. So
as God intended.
Yes. So, like all in all, I think I'm looking at the list right now. We'll talk about it later. Like I think all of these are good picks.
Fair.
I do want to double check what the nominees are, but like at the same time, well, other than the fact that I can't believe No Man's Sky won another, hey, this game like is around award. Please stop. But yeah, like most of these seem all right. I guess the categories are pretty straightforward though. Oh, Troy Baker hosted it. Good for him. We'll check in with that later. But yeah, what I was gonna say earlier about the Samurai Remnant collab, like Samurai Remnant is kind of our new hotness. I know there was the episode 0 basically for Strange Fake, but there's been no further Strange Fake anime news. I don't think a new Strange Fake like light novel or manga volume has come out since then. So it's kind of a static property. There are a lot of cool characters in it that I wouldn't mind seeing more of, but I'm perfectly content to wait to see more of them in like TV form, I guess, than to shoehorn an FGO collab.
Alrighty. So I don't think we need to really necessarily talk about that anymore. So let's move on to the next one. Oh, this one also has a read more. Let me preemptively open that. So this next one comes from the Mike Checker Codecast Selector. I'm assuming that's how they wanted it read. I'm assuming. But they say, hey, Supreme King Omega and Kabacore CEO Lucky. We're 2 for 2 on Yu-Gi-Oh! Here.
And yet, when I stream Yu-Gi-Oh!, people don't watch it as much. Anyway, sorry, I cut you off.
Hope you're chilling with the super late fall weather. Yeah, it's not super late. We still got a full month of fall. Remember, winter don't start until after the 20s in December. It's probably gonna be between the 21st and the 23rd of December. So we still got a month. Recently, I finally touched on the Codecast system since I technically had dupes of almost everyone released so far after they fixed the very stingy removal restrictions. I saw the fun and extra customization layer you can create for each event team. Have either of you really dived into the Codecast synergies? P.S. Where can we bring up the non-FGO stuff since you can be combining both of your shows now? Excellent choice, by the way. I really want to get Lucky's opinion on the Nikkei Blue Archive anniversary. Redhead is the boost. I hope both of you have a good pod. Mail, if you like, I'm pretty sure I changed the rules to remove the non-FGO stuff. So if you guys want to speak about non-FGO topics and mailbag, please feel free. I probably will be talking about the Nikkei and Blue Archive, and well, probably not so much as Blue Archive. because that Blue Archive, like, this is something that I've realized. I think I might like understand something about the video game awards now. Gacha games have this weird thing about how sometimes they'll actually release in Japan first and then in America, the US later. And I think if it does that, I don't think they're like allowed to qualify for some odd reason. That's why we probably haven't seen games like FGO and other such things, but why games like, Genshin and whatnot can get in there because they have
about
global
simultaneous release. That's the
releases.
word I'm looking for. Yeah, global releases.
Yeah.
I could see that because it's technically it's well, it's not exactly the same game over here, but like FGO is mostly the same game and story as it was. Just they opened a new server and started the events like ticking from there. So I guess I could see that. It's a little weird and it's very sad, like especially after there was honest to god positive gaming press about Lost Belt 6 this year, but
Mhm.
awards will probably not catch it just because it's in a weird space.
Yeah, and that's why I'm actually hopeful for Nikkei in this year's Game Awards, because a year old. It came out I think it came out like I think we're like today is the actual anniversary. We've been in the anniversary event since like the beginning of November, but I don't believe it was like it would have had the time to percolate before. So I'm hoping that Nikkei might get some nominations and not just be regulated to Jizzle sex bait game, as a lot of people unfortunately do. Because, like I said, we have a fairly robust Nikkei community on our Discord, and we're constantly talking about how the story has emotionally devastated us, how great the music is, and just how great the developers are like interacting with the community. Like for example, a person's talking about Red Hood here. Red Hood was the event of the new unit released with Anniversary, and a lot of people were complaining about how her damage input didn't scale with others in her faction, the Pilgrims. And so Shift Up actually took a look at the numbers, went, no, you know what, you're right, and did an emergency maintenance to boost her damage numbers to put her more in line. And now she's one of the highest rated damage dealers in the game. So it's like there's a lot of love for Nikkei and its community, and I definitely want to see that reflected in the video games. I'm not expecting Nikkei would win anything because, like I said, this has been a fucking banger year for video games. But I would like to know that Nikkei is being looked positively upon and by the wider gaming community.
Well, and like the some of it has to do with just acknowledgement, but the mobile games at the VGAs, like that category almost always sucks every year, right?
It does.
It's full of really crappy mobile ports most of the time. So like I wouldn't mind,
even if it just got got the
give it a
mobile
nom.
game nomination, I'd be happy. It doesn't need to be like
what I said in our games chat was I could see it because the wider gaming press should be aware of Shift Up because they're working on, Stellar Blade.
Yep.
We don't know when Stellar Blade is coming out. Obviously, if they're having probably not the exact same team, but if they're having a healthy time at Nikkei, that doesn't seem like they're in a rush. Honestly, in general, Sony doesn't seem like it's in a rush to do anything. But like the wider press should know about it, and there are quite a few different locations they get input from like journalists and stuff on, right? Like if you check the like who is our panel of judges, the people picking these games include not just American and Japanese outlets, but in South America, like especially in like Brazil, quite a few European outlets. I don't know if I saw anybody based in Korea last time, but I think there might have been one or two.
Yeah, but yeah. So I at least want to see Nikkei get a nomination, at least in like the mobile games awards. Because as another note, they did get a nomination in the Pocket Gamer Awards for best what category was it? It was only one category, and it was like either like best action RPG or best role playing RPG, but it got a nom in there, and we got 10 tickets out of that shit. So fuck yeah,
Nice.
So we people know of Nikkei and think well of it, and I just
well, and it's a little sad because Genshin did get a nom and a win that one year, and it's like, but I know that their production values are very high because they're like 3D. And also, despite the fact that I will say some of the Genshin community and Honkai Star Rail, which I suspect may skew a little younger, some of them are absolutely feral about certain character designs. The character designs in Genshin and Honkai Star Rail are a lot more tame compared to like 2D gotcha games. So I don't know. I could see it being a little more safe.
Yeah, actually, if I remember correctly, the stream for the anniversary for Nikkei got like over like 80,000 people combined between the US and Japanese streams. It wasn't a small amount.
Also, no, I didn't actually watch the awards, so no. It's very funny if Troy Baker was getting frustrated with the script. Presentations are funny that way.
Actually, I don't know what happened. What happened?
Somebody in chat's just saying that it seemed like Troy Baker was getting a little drunk and a little pissed at the script as it went on. I don't know. I don't know if the jokes were bad. For Golden Joysticks, I assume, since I said earlier he was hosting.
Oh.
I may actually go and check that out. Troy seems like he's an all right guy. From what I've seen of him, kind of like not performing off the cuff stuff.
Honestly, I kind of agree with that, Legendary. I know it's mean to say, but I really do consider Genshin Impact Fortnite kind of the Fortnite of gacha games.
Well, I mean, like I said, I don't want to generalize too much, but it Genshin especially seemed like its mechanics were a mix of, I think they'd done some of that sort of like elemental focused action game stuff before, but like with climbing and paragliding, it's like, okay, so you built a semi Breath of the Wild open world, but you've got some very normal, action RPG elements in it. Your character designs are kind of like cute, and they're presented in a way to your young fan base who have no idea what any words mean. So you get, people calling Genshin character designs like thick or mommy, and then just the rest of us 30-year-olds are just like, what?
Yeah.
Huh? What? Have you seen a character design before? No, it's not right. I don't know. It seems like obviously the demographics skew younger and it sucks a lot of people in, but also it's like safer and more approachable for that reason. Like I don't actually know if you would feel afraid to, play Genshin on your phone on the bus. Not that you should play Genshin on your phone on the bus because your phone will probably explode. But
shout out to the guy who makes the thick character models for Genshin. You know who you are. I appreciate your work.
Well,
I don't play Genshin. I follow you because I support that shit.
That's the power of PC, baby. If you do not build it, they will build it and they will come.
Well, we might talk about a little bit more about that, but we got more.
Yeah, we got some more
to get through.
Like I said, we reformatted the show so we can be a little looser, a little freer, so it's fine. But
yeah,
we do got some more mailbags. Hold on, before we actually do that, did we ever actually talk about using command codes?
No, we did not actually.
Yeah, that was actually the question. Me, not super deep, but most of my like heavy hitting supporters, like my Jean, my Castoria. Don't know why I couldn't say that for a second. I've fully kitted them out with like appropriate supportive command codes. I did make sure to put that one that's really good on Aresh's one arts card, but I haven't ever gone whole hog. Mostly because I am kind of afraid of like getting a better unit later, and I know I can remove them, but will I remember to remove them? Shrug.
Sorry, Lucky does not think about synergy at all. I literally just like, is this like on theme for the character? All right, put it on. This is why my Tamamoa has the mirror and good fox, good wife just on there. I'm just like, yep, good, perf.
Luckily, at least, FGO will usually make it so that those are appropriate to the characters.
Like, that's what I usually do. I just put them on the character they're relevant to, because that's kind of stuff that I enjoy.
Joke's on you, Legendary. I don't have a consort, Yang. I can't put all my fire command codes on her.
No, I won't. and you can't make me. Ha 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 ha. So, actually, let me close that so I stop getting lost here. So, this next one comes from Monster Girl Aficionado. Dear Heart of the Cards Omega and Wild +4 Lucky. Eh. Wait, I skipped one.
Yes. If the
So,
order is the same order as in stream.
yes, probably. So pardon me. We're gonna rewind that for a second. This next one comes from the Tyrant King, who bought 4 boxes of the Azure Lane Weiss and packed a card over double their value.
Oh, nice. Was that
Nice.
the autograph card you showed? Probably.
Nice. Question, hey guys, it's something I just learned that Azure Lane getting its own trading card game in the future. So my question is, what anime franchise would you like to get its own game? Also, what anime tech/gear would you want to have? Anyway, that's it for me. Send good vibes your way, and hope you have a great weekend. Game franchise to get its own game? Are we talking like video game, tabletop game?
I mean, I would guess since the question is about trading card game, about card games, but there could be other stuff. I'm thinking. I've tried a few card games in my time. But I don't actually know out of any of our, like, recent properties or franchises if I would, like, you know, want to go out there for picking a particular, you know, card game or RPG or whatever. Like, that in the, if people don't know, in the 2000s, this was actually a really big thing. And it's still going some places. I believe One Piece has a trading card game. Where they had some very funny thing going on. Okay, they're saying
Toronto says any game.
There was also an actual video game. I mean, like a console game. I'm trying to
Give
think.
me a fully coolly rhythm game where you are just shooting monsters with your guitar.
It's Guitar Hero, but only the Pillows songs.
Pretty much. And you can have some more. You can add some more songs in there.
Get a few. Yeah, that'd be rad. Oh boy, I'm trying.
Honestly, I'm trying to think of like video games like based on, and it's usually I'm not a fan of adaptations like that in general.
Yeah.
Because again, when you adapt something, either you have to add something or something that's lost, and usually it's both. Just because they do not equal each other one to one. It's like that's why like I can usually enjoy original anime stories, original manga stories, and all that stuff. But if I've read a light novel, or hell, if I've even read the web novel, seeing the manga adaptation will usually make me think, better or worse of one of the previous properties. And I generally don't like that. I want everything to be able to stand on its own merit. So
yeah, adaptation's a tricky business. That question is going around a lot because there was a first trailer for Netflix's new live-action adaptation of Avatar: The Last Airbender, which the general vibe seemed to be like, okay, you guys did your costuming and casting correctly this time, but why does this exist? Why did you make this? Because I guess you could argue you're trying to like bring up Avatar to like newer audiences who maybe haven't watched it already, but it was a children's probably back in the day, so like you've probably got a decent reach with it just being on Netflix. It's not quite the same as like live action One Piece, where One Piece is an anime. That's a weird buy-in for some people. Also, One Piece is fucking long, which is a bigger gut check for most people. So like the live action adaptation has like reason on its own to stand out, but Avatar, yeah, I don't know. There are some cases where I think where like a adaptation to game works out in its favor. In general, I think most people, rightfully so, praise the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm games for like encapsulating and wrapping up the plot of Naruto more concisely than the anime for sure did. Oh lordy, was there so much bad filler in the anime, so much stretching. And obviously, like doing sometimes even their own thing with like visual flair and stuff. So like, there can be pluses or minuses to either. But yeah, straight up adaptations are weird, and even side stories are odd. This is gonna be a weird reach for some people, but hey, First of all, one, I have to ask Chad if you remember the anime Etika 7. You may think of it as Eureka 7, but that's not how it's pronounced at all. But that had 2 canonical PS2 games.
Yep.
That were kind of like prequels and sidequels. How do I know this? I own them. Because I really like Etika 7. You can't stop me from Sky Surfing Mecha. But that's, like, weird, right? That's odd that this show, it was only just, like the 152-episode series, and then they did a sequel. Like, it's weird. The games were okay for, surfing giant robot games. The first game had a lot of parts where they tried to get you to get out of the giant robot, and that wasn't fun. It's
no one wants to get out of the
giant
robot.
Listen, they really sold how much of a pain in the ass it was to fight giant robots on foot when I had to, like, evade enemy mechs to get back to where I had parked my giant robot and, like, shoot at them with my anti-mech rifle, but shit sucked. It was hard. Didn't want to do it. Speaking of giant robots, though, like, in general, I know I didn't play it fully. I am a little sad Gundam Evolution shut down before they could, like, really get into the guts. Well, actually, Bandai Namco probably has the money for it. They're fucking Bandai Namco, and they have game developers. But, like, I would actually really like to see, like, a new, like, Gundam game that kind of takes the fact that they already have all this experience with, like, Gunpla and stuff, and, like, basically a game in the Gundam universe where you can get Gundam suits and parts with kind of the depth of customization and breadth of field that, like, Armored Core 6 had. Like, what? How would you not do this? Hell, you could, if you really wanted to, you could probably contract some of the FromSoft guys to do it, because they, those games are published by Bandai Namco. They're even doing, Bandai Namco is doing an official Gunpla crossover with Armored Core 6. I saw some people on Twitter super excited about that. But yeah, that's something I wouldn't mind out of anime franchise. But that's much more like less about adapting the stories of Gundam and more just like the feel of the Gundam.
Oh man, the old dot hack games for the PS2 were a trip, because every time there was 4 games and each one of them, in addition to the game, had their DVD, the DVDs to go with them that told like the kind of the prequel story.
Also, yes. So to bring it up, I'm aware of the Gundam Breaker franchise, which is kind of like meant to actually like be the Gunpla part, but I'm pretty sure they haven't had a real genuine sequel in quite a few years. Yeah, the Gundam Breaker 3 was in 2016. I don't think it was published over here, and then there was New Gundam Breaker in like 2018. So like it's been several years since they do a new release. Also, yeah, Dot Hack had a lot of interesting things. I'm looking at my shelf right now. I have the complete set of the Legend of the Twilight. Like, was that technically a sequel manga? It was like related to the anime adaptation. But yeah,
I know they do a collection of the games. I should go look for those.
Yeah.
It's like I've been in a mood. Like I've been playing like Star Ocean First Departure R because they came out with Second Story R recently. I'm like, oh yeah. First Departure R was free on PlayStation Plus. So I was all like, I'll pick that up. And I'm back in that, like, that late 90s, grind set of I'm just running around in circles, mindlessly fighting enemies. I'm just like, God, I miss that some days.
True Zen.
Ugh. It is Zen. Ugh. Well, I don't think we should necessarily hang out on this one anymore. Let's see here. What anime tech / gear would you want to have? We're talking about like some weird anime shit, tech stuff. Just all the sci-fi shit I've seen in anime just, quickly scrolls through my head.
Chat will be angry at me if I don't bring up dual discs.
They probably will.
I mean, it is pretty cool. Just like literally play card games anywhere. But yeah. Though it's funnier when they started the Battle Sea introduction, and to make it work, your dual disc has to fire out those 2 hollow projectors to make the arena. That's not a health hazard waiting to happen. Sorry, I'm just thinking of like old Weeds and Switch warnings. Make sure you have at least 15 feet of clearance on either side before you activate your dual disc. People are also having some very good opinions about OSTs in chat.
Yeah, I can't think of something specifically. I'm thinking of a lot of gadgets, but I can't think of like the gear that I want. Like one of the first things that popped in my head was Detective Conan and all his little detective gadgets. You know, the fucking watch that shoots a fucking paralytic dart, the fucking voice changer bow tie, the fucking power shoes. I'm like, that shit was peak. But then you go into like Ghost in the Shell and you think about their fucking just cybernetics. Ugh, I love cybernetics. Cybernetics has been on the brain because Omega has been pushing through his cybernetics chart on the Singularity War, his Genesis Cyberpunk splat. I guess I'm gonna fucking call.
Yeah. I mean, I know I am doing the bulk of the writing, but I appreciate the calling it mine. But we did world building wise, we did a lot of collaborative work. There's 5 hours of setup recorded out there somewhere.
Yeah, but all I do is yell at you and be like, "Hey, that's rad! I want more of that." And you're like,
True.
"Okay, Chief."
Yes.
That's what I do.
Well, I mean, that's that. That worked out. Well, I did also do the iconic weapons in there because I was like holding off until I did weapon mods for that. But I did implants, next because you were like, I want to know about implants, and I'm like, okay, well, time to build the list. Build it, go down it.
And Omega has put in fucking, I'm guessing the projectile launcher from Cyberpunk, and I'm like, I need that. I need 2 of those. DiCaprio point, Cosmic Kiryu, that's rad.
Yeah.
That's me. But let's keep on going from there. Now we go to Monster Girl Aficionado, who says, "Dear Harlequins Omega and Wild +4 Lucky." So it hasn't been all Yu-Gi-Oh, but I do believe we're like, let me check here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we're four for four of card game references here. You guys like that cardboard crack, don't you? But they say, with the Napoleon movie that's coming out this month, I was wondering what your favorite historical film is. Thanks and keep up the great work. Sending you good vibes. Wah, 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 wah. Man, people are getting riled up about the new Napoleon movie because someone said, get a life. It's a little silly all around, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, all around. Like, Ridley Scott's really successful, and I don't think he needs to be, picking fights with historians, but also, like, it is a piece of fiction, and I don't think it's billing itself as, like, historically accurate.
Yeah.
I think I've seen a couple of trailers, and I don't remember that being, like, the lead-up, so, yeah,
it's just a film. If we're talking about favorite historical films, though, that may not be entirely historically accurate, I will go for the classic Schindler's List. That was a very strong movie for me because I watched it when I was a teenager, and I was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
If you have not seen it, I heartily recommend it.
I really need to watch, Nolan's Dunkirk at some point. Because I'm sure that will be to my taste. I just haven't found a time to sit down and watch it. But this may be a weird one for some people, but I'm I know it's not super historically accurate, but I've always speaking, by the way, of being directed and produced by Ridley Scott. Always been a big fan of Kingdom of Heaven. I don't know why, but back in the day when I did have cable, that was always on in afternoons on some channels. The 3-hour version, the appropriate version. And I don't know. I like it. There's just something about, Orlando Bloom, smacking the shit out of people with his sword. But yeah, that's like it is genuinely a movie that I really liked and remember and watched a lot of because it was fucking on TV. And nothing else like super jumps out in front of me to remember. Oh, hey, fun fact. I just pulled up IMDb's, top 50 history movies. Number 6, Schindler's List.
Well, yeah, that was funnily enough, that was Steven Spielberg's first Academy win.
And directly below it, number 7, Kingdom of Heaven.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We have taste.
Yeah, all right, sick. Though I think there's some recency bias here because the top 3 are Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Napoleon.
Well, Killers of the Flower Moon, I can understand because that was actually a very pivotal point of American history. Like, that's how the fucking FBI got started and shit.
Yeah,
the
that's
movie,
an interesting one. Also, it's a Scorsese film, so like,
yeah.
Yeah.
If they did it right, yeah, I can see that. Oppenheimer, I don't know. Maybe I think that might be some bias. Personally,
I mean, it was part of a cultural phenomena. Barbenheimer existed. Ooh, Black Hawk Down, number 18. It was all right. There's some lines in that one I still remember. The fucking Delta Force guy, when he's getting chewed out for not having his safety on, he holds up his trigger finger and says, "This is my safety."
well, with that, I think we can probably move it on it. So, this next one comes from Lord of Darkness. And they say, question, have any of you heard or played of the Disgaea series? That's it. Wishing you both well wishes and sending good vibes. Wah, 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 wah. Of course I have heard of the Disgaea series. And yes, I have played it. I played the first 2. I have not beaten any of them. I don't know if you're supposed to beat them. I think you're supposed to just fucking grind forever. You end some item worlds, you keep finding stronger enemies, you just keep going. It doesn't end. It never ends.
Oh, wow, this guy is newer than I thought it was. 2003. I've heard of them, obviously, and there are some people in our Discord who are freaks for the games. As I look at this fucking demonic penguin creature. The Prinnies, dude. And I'm just like, yeah. But no, I've never played them, which is weird, because they're tactical RPGs made by Nipponichi, which should be in my strike zone, but yeah, I never got around to it. Sorry, somebody in chat yes-anded your joke. You play them forever until the next Disgaea comes out.
It's true. That's how they're built.
But yeah, so not a super huge amount of action from us. But like I said, there's some diehards in our Discord if you don't know already. I'm pretty sure the Discord link's in the description of this video right now. Right meow now.
All right, so let's move on to the last one here, which comes from Agent 418, who says, "Hello, Lucky and Omega. Have a good weekend, y'all. Thank you. You too."
Yeah. Oakley dokley.
Oakley dokley.
I can leave chat in that corner. You guys are fine. I scooched him over from the dead space, but you'll go there. Okay. That is the bag of mail. Thank you very much for those of you who contributed. That does mean, and yes, sorry, we're going back to light mode because there's no night mode in Google Docs. Why, I don't know.
They burn.
I know. If you're like one of our friends and viewers in a European time zone where it's, much later at night, you'll probably have a bad time as you're just blasted. But that does mean it's time to enter Caldea Free Talk and talk a little about FGO again. Because we do have a new The GUDAGUDA event coming up. A great googly moogly event. And we're here to give you a pregame on it. So this one has been titled RYOMA'S Narrow Escape. I believe the subtitle is something about Nobunaga's missing head. So we're going to talk about it right now. You can follow along once again in the show notes and, find where my... Hopefully there are no... I don't think there's any major spelling errors in here, but you never know with me. Lightweight jump scare. Yes. All right, so RYOMA'S Narrow Escape, our new GUDAGUDA event. It is a 100 mission event. So it's a 100 mission event. Keep that in mind. You will have to clear Lost Boat 5.5 to participate, like I said. It follows the usual format for mission-based events, but to recap that for people who, aren't as familiar with them or maybe haven't done any yet, always got new listeners, new players. Basically, you clear missions. Those open story quests. Clearing story quests open free quests. Free quests let you farm more missions, and so it goes. Follow the process. To clear the story, we're looking at a prologue, 11 story episodes, and an epilogue. This will grant you 11 total Saint Quartz, your temporary, then your permanent Ranmaru X Avenger, and a Grail, plus a bunch of EXP CEs, kind of following that format from GUDAGUDA Yamataikoku, where there's lots of events, EXP CEs. Now, being an event that requires a Lost Belt clear, or not necessarily slacking in difficulty, you're going to fight a few bosses who cap out at around, 350k HP on their final bar. The bosses in the last node have upwards of 500k in their last HP bar. So, we're getting a little chunk. In terms of mobs and adds in story, you're going to be fighting mostly archers, assassins, and berserkers, a few other classes thrown in as bosses or unusual adds. Episode 1 will have a boss. That's an Avenger who's going to be 165 to 19k HP and gives you 3 turns of unremovable buff success down when the battle starts. Don't you just love that? Fuck your boss. The wiki did not note what the percentage was, but I assume it's high. Episode 2, you're going to have very funny 3 dialogue options. I believe these are unskippable. Before you go into a 500k HP assassin. No break bars, just 515k on the assassin. And you have a mandatory story support with new caster Okuni. Basically, pick the top option. Says something about the crushing victory course for the easiest time. If you want a more challenging fight, if you pick the lower options, you will get significantly less story buffs. So, it's very funny, but shouldn't be too difficult. And then you have an easy time for the next few episodes. Those either have no bosses or the bosses are relatively insignificant fights without mechanics. When you do get to episode 5, though, you're going to run into a Lancer-type boss that's going to have 287, 348k HP across 2 bars there. They're going to start the battle with an improved crit rate and just a flat 1k damage up. Always doing an extra 1k damage. Super cool. Love that. And when you break their first bar, you're going to get 2 NP ticks per turn and a 30% arts up for the rest of the fight. Have fun. Episode 7, that Lancer boss is going to come back with infinite archer adds. Ignore the adds, kill the boss to end the fight. You will be forced to put your Ranmaru in the front line for this, but they do get story buffs. And on bar number 1, the boss will up himself and allies' attacks and defense by 30% and give themselves the arts up by 30% again. I believe the attack and defense ups are temporary, but they are, for both themselves and the ads. So keep that shit in mind. In episode 8, you've got a Berserker boss. They've got 203, 313, 182 HP per bar, 3 bars. On bar number 2, so once you break their first HP bar, he will NP every turn. Just full charge every turn. But on bar 3, 1, he only has 182 HP, and also next he gets attack and crit down permanently. So, it's one of those boss fights. It's got a hump, and then it goes down. The final boss is an archer you're going to need to defeat twice. The first fight is 354, 499, 488 HP bars. That's all in thousands. Its attack and defense are reduced by 30%, but it's got a 50% defense up permanently, so it evens out. And on bar number 1, it gains a permanent 50% chance to stun you on basic attacks and sure hit forever. But the fight ends after just 2 bars, so you don't have to fight the 3rd bar. But that 2nd bar phase sounds like it sucks. Who wants stun chance on basic attack? Whomst. But your 2nd fight is for keeps. That's going to be 211, 305, 501 KHP. Still has an attack defense down, but doesn't have the defense up anymore. But when you break its 1st bar, it will give you 100% buff success down 3 times. So basically like buff block 3 times, but you might be able to manipulate with buff chance up. And also gives all your frontliners 30% chance of activating Confusion, that is activating skill seal at end of turn. Final bar, it gets 50% attack and crit up for 5 turns. And also, every time it's hit, it raises its attack by 15% for 3 turns. The on-hit buff part is permanent. So you're going to want to end that fight in as few hits as possible, because otherwise you will damage ramp a lot. Like I said, this requires you to clear Lost Belt 5.5, so they do not feel the need to josh around with you. Bring your A game. And we also have our usual epilogue stuff, which is pretty interesting. Basically, after you clear the initial block of quests and all that, and have cleared the... I believe it's called Digression is the name of the epilogue quest, but the epilogue quest, you get access to the extra quests. These are 7 more quests that will net you 6 more Saint Quartz and the Second Grail, and even more EXP-CEs. And they're basically 7 little mini CQs with unique gimmicks and story support. I'm not going to spoil all of them. I'm just going to let you know that the last one's going to be the final boss again, but they're going to have 30% damage resist permanently, and also they're going to start the fight with 20k damage cut for 5 turns, and then after you break a bar, they're going to get plus 1k or 1,000 damage plus, so, you know, auto 1,000 damage every time, and double NP gain per bar. You do need to clear these extra quests for missions. However, other than the final one, which is opened when you've cleared all of the 6 other extra quests, you don't have to do them in order. So you can, you know, try them at your leisure, figure them out, and do them as you need to get in there. For the story, you'll have a healthy cast of characters to support you, such as the new character Okuni, Ryoma, Chacha, Nagayoshi, and Izo, all your GUDAGUDA friends. And, I don't know, free quest do be question. You're looking at between 200 and 240k-ish HP. I think one of the final nodes you can unlock is, like, technically 260, but around the 250-ish area. All of them are monoclass, and most of them are the classic 3-3-3, but the late-game ones do have some interesting weird combos. Not only will you get 1-man waves, but you will also get 6-man waves, so you will be able to do some weird farming. I do believe the very best node is, like, 6-man first wave, 2 or 3-man second wave, 1-man final wave. You will almost assuredly be able to abuse that, chat. I know you guys. You've got some plans for 6-man quests. Clearing free quests as usual gets you apples and mana prisms. Now, the 100 missions they've laid out are all pretty straightforward. Mostly, you need to clear story and kill enemies. There are some for currency drops that do require a lot of currency. I'm talking like 500 or 600 total currency drops. Not a lot compared to like how much you can spend in the store, but you're going to need to work on them. And there's also the usual back-end bevy of quests to get Ranmaru's bond up and use them in the party. No Ascension-related ones, interestingly enough, but do make sure to put your Ranmaru in party so you can get her to get some bond levels and just be in quests. Clearing your 100 missions is necessary to get you a new story and extra story unlocked, obviously. No, when I say 6-man, I mean it's 1 wave, 6 enemies on screen. Like, they are not afraid to experiment with that mechanic. I do not believe there is any spawn-up stuff like Halloween here. There are just some of the, like, 90++ nodes are like, yeah, we put 6 guys in here, you know, just for shits and giggles. And on different waves. I think one of the lower-down quests is 6 guys in the last wave, you know, just to rub it in. But yeah, so the 100 missions will unlock, you know, your story clears, but also that's how you get your... basically everything for Ranmaru X. You get coins, you get extra NP copies, and you get all your Ascension mats that way. You're going to get your 3 command codes that way. You're going to get a few apples. You're going to get a couple of tickets. You're going to get 1 copy of the event CE, and you're going to get materials such as hero proofs, homunculus babies, magatamas, rainbow yarns, horseshoes, bloodstones, dragon fangs, reactor cores, bullets, feathers, mirrors, stingers, bicorn horns, spinal fluid, cosmic egg. You're also going to get a bevy of Saber Lancer caster gems and 2 lures. There are a fuck ton of lures in this event, and I'm here for it. There's 2 in the missions to start with. But wait, there's more. You also have detective missions. Your detective missions are ranked E to EX because, of course, they are. And basically, you're going to clear story. Sorry, I nodded there to Lucky's chuckle. That's what that pause was. But you're going to need to clear story and do previous ranks of detective missions to get access to your higher ranks. The higher ranks have their own rewards, such as lots of QP, FP, mana prisms, but also materials such as small bells, more hero proofs, void dust, seeds, god balls, aka divine spiritrons, but I like saying god ball because it's funnier. Crowns, more bloodstones, more reactor cores, god hearts, and oni lanterns. To clear these, you mostly need to get specific drops, so keep an eye out for farming your currency. You need to get enemy kills or use certain classes in your party to clear your detective missions. So it's basically just they wanted to give you another set of missions that were different than the 100 missions, so you can do them. And they unlock, kind of like I said, pretty regularly as you clear story to keep your detective rank rising. So, who do you want in the party? Well, let's go over the bonus list. It has been pre-announced, so we know all this ahead of time. First of all, the usual, with the slight spoiler here because of a double secret banner, but you know about it because of clairvoyance.
Mhm.
But your new servants, Ranmaru X, Okuni, and Ryoma Lancer will get the sweet plus 100% damage up and 50% bond. Ryoma Izo, it's regular Ryoma, obviously. Chacha, Mori, and Mao Nobu get 50% damage up and 20% bond. Do like that they tucked both Chacha and Ryoma in there because they're welfares, and Izo and Mori are 3 stars, so, I appreciate that. And all 4 Okitas, that is Okita, Okita Alter Summer, and Okita Summer. Saito, the remaining 2 Nobus, Nobukatsu, Kagetora, Medusa, Old Man Lee, Hijikata, Himiko, and Mash get 30% damage up and 20% bond, except for Mash, who gives the party 5% bond. So, a decent amount of GUDAGUDA squad here. You should be able to fill most of your support slots one way or another, and you'll have a little variety to pick from. And there are, like I said, several old welfares and 3 stars in this setup. And obviously, Nobukatsu, who's bronze. So, you've got your parties made, you're clearing free quests, you're earning currency, you're getting missions. What do you want to spend it on? Well, in the shop, you're looking at a handful of things. First of all, you've got 4 copies of the event CE. So that means 1's in the missions, 4 in the store. Thumbs up. Good game design. Also, it's just a damage CE, but that's still cool. Also, sounds like it might be useful out of the event. It's a 50% charge when MLB and also gives you trait damage versus demonic enemies. So that's probably going to be
useful.
handy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just good all around that you can get your 5 copies total. You're looking at 3 more lures in the shop. You heard me correctly. That's 3 lures in the shop, 2 in the missions. You've got EXPs and foes, the whole bevy of gold and silver EXPs and foes. Even more Ranmaru X corns. Corns? Coins.
Corns.
Coins. Blah. Let me take a sip of a water, because I have to read a big list of maths again. And you can also acquire materials such as bones, chains, big bells, small bells. That's right, they're doubling up on small bells as well.
Yeah.
Gears, hearts, snake gems, reverse scales, and Oni lanterns, plus Izo's costume. I believe this is his 2nd costume?
Yes.
So, yes. Very stacked shop. We appreciate this. We approb. And also, missions and everything. So, all in all, it should be a very versatile event. If you are caught up on story, if you're not caught up on story, try to be if you can, because this is going to be a lot of good shit here. And if you are caught up on story, like I said, there's quite a lot of QP to earn from those detective missions. You can get, I think at the later tiers, you can get, 5 mil per rank, as you clear the missions. So, there's quite a lot to be had. There's a lot of lures, a lot of good stuff. Now for banners, we're going to start with our first banner. That should be Izumo no Okuni, Summer Nobu, and also Izo and Mori Nagayoshi on Raid Up, plus event CEs, and the Medusa one is 3-star. Nice.
Nice. Just like that thigh squish.
Yeah. Great CE. Love that we always remember to give Medusa a CE around GUDAGUDA time. And approximately a week later, you should see your Lancer Ryoma banner. That should have Summer Okita, Mori, and Izo on it as well. So you get a shot at Summer Okita as well as Summer Nobu and Mori and Izo, of course, if you're looking for those 3-stars and CEs. And also, because in JP, this was still pre-pity, it was supposed to be a rolling rate up. So there was going to be a Mao banner rotating there at the same time with the same SR setup. Given the way that we now work with Pity, I'm going to guess that's probably going to be in between the Okuni and Ryoma banners. Will be a Mao banner with the same S and R setup, or it could be after. So just keep that in mind if you are thinking about rolling for Mao Nobu. She does have a banner, but I don't know exactly where that's going to fall in our setup. So it could be early, it could be after. And honestly, that's about it. It's a 100 mission event, so it should all be pretty straightforward. In JP, this is when they actually added that quality of life to let you know what enemies are mission targets in a quest. So I think it's all designed to flow pretty well, and should be pretty fun. So, happy detective work, everybody, and don't lose your head. And yes, like I said, I've begun my research and prep for the Okuni script, so that should be out before too long. The Wanted, and keep your eyes peeled for maybe next week, maybe a couple weeks. But I'm sure we'll do a welfare corner to talk about Renmure X and what she can do for you. Probably fly at people on a giant sword. Mysterious Renmure X. But yeah, so should be a fun time. But yeah, that wraps up the pregame. Sorry, my brain was failing to type the Golden Joystick Awards in because I'm going to Google it up and see if I can find the noms list. Yes, full nominations. Okay, thank you, GamesRadar.com. Because we're going to, slip and slide on into the What's Up portion.
Yeah.
And you can see I threw a few things out there to keep track, because there's been some new stuff happening over the week, and Lucky's got some thoughts to share about some other stuff as well. So we'll just pepper these in. But let's pull up that nom list for the Game Award, the Golden Joystick Awards. So let's see. Best Storytelling, the winner was Baldur's Gate 3. The nominees were Baldur's Gate, obviously. Cosmic Wheel Sisterhood. Haven't heard of that game. I guess I should look into that. Armored Core 6, Oxenfree 2, Lost Signals, Paranormal Sight, and Star Wars Jedi Survivor. So, solid noms all around, I think.
I'm glad Jedi Survivor got in there. Though, what was the second one? Not the second one, the third one?
Third one was Armored Core.
Yeah, Armored Core. Yeah, wasn't it? Well, I guess it is FromSoft. Like, they have worked on their storytelling chops. And
Armored Core does actually have a decent amount of really interesting storytelling. They've got a lot of that iterative thing going on, with the multiple new game pluses. So they got some stuff. The Still Playing Award, which is I think just the whatchamacallit Game Awards, like Best Ongoing Game type award. That was won by No Man's Sky, obviously, as I mentioned before. And I'm kind of surprised at that, because the nominees include Genshin Impact, Sims 4, Fortnite, Naraka Blade Point, GTA Online, Warframe, Valorant, Counter-Strike 2, Apex Legends, Dota, and just Call of Duty. I don't know which Call of Duty, but Call of Duty. Yeah, we don't know. Wow, man. No Man's Sky is such a... I guess that just goes to show you how much of a heartwarming story that is, that is actually what people thought of over all those other games, which shitloads of people, I'm sure, are still playing. Now, this is going to be an interesting one, and some people might be a little contentious on. Best Visual Design was won by Baldur's Gate 3. The other nominees were Starfield, Hi-Fi Rush, Viewfinder, Lies of P, and Street Fighter 6. Baldur's Gate 3 looks pretty good.
I think Baldur's Gate 3 does probably its best work in its character models,
Yes.
honestly, because they do a lot of visual storytelling. And it's not as good as like Cyberpunk's is. Like, there's been a lot of discussions on how you hold a conversation in Cyberpunk as to oppose Starfield. It's just not looking straight on at people, and
Yeah, Starfield. Shocking no one, Starfield is a Bethesda game. It's just a Bethesda game. It's just Skyrim in space, everybody.
but the character interactions show off a lot of good detail and stuff, and I can see it.
I can see it, but also like Hi-Fi Rush, very stylized, though that obviously came out earlier this year. But Lies of P, very choice visual design. Like that's a really well-made game with kind of a unique setting. It is going for that. It's one of Lucky's preferred phrases. It's going for that La Belle Epoque.
Mm-hmm.
That is definitely its vibe. So I am kind of surprised to see that one not win. But as somebody in chat brought up way earlier, BG3 was a big slammer, big Baldur's Gate sweep this year.
I honestly also think it's because it kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it really shouldn't have, because it was in like open access for a while, but it did. I do think it did sneak up on people.
I think that's kind of one of the reasons why it's doing, because it is genuinely just a fucking good game, and but some people were so bamboozled by it that I think it left a stronger impression.
Well, and it's a good game with such a solid story, because like even Larian's right, like they're saying we can't make like a Baldur's Gate 3 every time, guys, but Baldur's Gate 3 feels like it's running contrapposto to a lot of ideas of other games in the space. They had an early access period, right? They had a slow roll. They did betas and stuff. And there doesn't seem to be any kind of like live serviceifying, no battle pass kind of a stuff. I don't think the game is perfect. I've heard a decent amount of people say that like they think the third act is a little weaker than the first two acts.
Yep.
But like, it's just a solidly built game that they took their time on and slowly constructed and worked it out. And because it wasn't, like a bloated giga-budget AAA game, they didn't feel the need that they had to be like, well, we have to release it this quarter or our stockholders will literally eat us. What do? We'll release a piece of shit game and patch it later. Like, arguably, that's even where Cyberpunk's flaws came from. We are nowhere near as negative as the general press was, but it was undercooked when it launched, and it was definitely undercooked because they were like, we cannot delay this game anymore. We've delayed the release date like 4 times, and every time we do, the internet makes fun of us for it. So we gotta slap it out. But yeah, it is definitely, I think, a good tale to have in the industry, especially when we've got stuff like where is Xbox going? We talked about the Bungie layoffs last week and how sad that is. Even now, like Sony is kind of like trying to roll back and tighten up their number of live service games they're going to release, pushing Marathon back to 2025, for instance. Which, hey, listen, if it takes that long to come out, that's okay.
No, that's fine.
Like, honestly, here's the thing, okay? I'm going to talk about Marathon for just a sec before we go further into Studio of the Year, because that will be another one that's not that weird. But like, I've played old school Marathon. I've played all of the Halo games that Bungie made, for sure. And I've played Destiny and Destiny 2. Bungie makes good first-person shooters. Gameplay-wise, I am sure the Marathon game will be fine. Your core loop of shoot man will be good. Thumbs up. But and I don't know much about extraction shooters. I've never played Escape from Tarkov. I've seen some very funny videos about Escape from Tarkov, but I don't know anything about it.
Interruption. What is an extraction shooter?
Well, let's double check.
Because you say that term, and I'm not entirely sure what that is, if I'm going to be real.
I mean, I feel like the wow. Okay, literally top result. What's an extraction shooter? r/marathon. So extraction shooters are a relatively new genre. Basically, it can be PvP, PvE, or any combo. You can have solos or groups. The idea basically seems to be you're on a map and there's loot. You need to get the loot and get out of here.
Oh, okay.
If you get killed while you're carrying the loot, other players can get your loot. At least from like Escape from Tarkov and other ones like that. Others seem to have like I said, like PvE, like mining stuff, like Deep Rock Galactic is technically an extraction shooter. You are, space dwarfs who are going mining, and you have to kill monsters and get stuff back. So yeah, I'm gonna guess, the idea, and like I said, if some of this seems a little loosey goosey, it's because the genre is pretty new. So the idea is probably gonna be that, like, based on the trailer and general, like, what I know of the marathon setting, you are probably, the player character is probably going to be some kind of, like, combat cyborg or android who is, like, assembled or teleported into an area. You are told to go get alien artifacts, and then you pick up your artifacts and go. Get out of there. But we don't know exactly how it will, because there is some subvariance in the genre. But, like, it may be possible, especially if they lean more on the PvP side. It is going to be frustrating in its own way. But I think if they have the time to actually produce the game, it'll be fun to play. And Marathon already has loads of batshit insane story for them to draw on. Asking, like, will Destiny 2 survive Marathon? I don't know about that, but they've pushed Final Shape's release date, which is supposed to be their last big X-Pack for Destiny 2. And they've pushed Marathon, so they're trying to give themselves some tighter time to, like, polish everything up and make better expectations. Obviously, that'll probably be a little harder with a reduced staff, but it sounds like they are monetarily in a bad way. And so they're focusing up, and we will see if it works out for them. What was I going to say? Studio of the Year, yes, that's the next award. Larian Studios won.
Mm-hmm.
Your nominees included Digital Eclipse. Whomst is that studio? Studios I recognize for sure. They've got Nintendo EPD, Remedy, CD Projekt Red. Let's see, Digital Eclipse. As Digital Eclipse. Wow, well, I wonder what they got nominated for. What are they doing that's good? I guess they did the revamp of they do a lot of collection ports. Like they did the 2015 Mega Man Legacy Collection. They did a Street Fighter collection. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection, stuff like that. Interesting.
Yeah, sure. I pulled it up.
Yeah.
Pulled it up, but meh. I don't know. Maybe it's something British. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It does kind of seem like they're doing a lot on the, like, game preservation front. They released something called The Making of Kataketa, which was like a release of an old ass game, recording it for history. The other studio, the last studio was that was nominated was Minini Games. That's with
What?
eyes.
Oh, Nini.
Yes. They are German, it seems. I guess their most recent release was something called Shadow Gambit: The Cursed Crew, real-time tactics game. They've done several of these Shadow Tactics or Shadow Gambit games. So yeah, I don't know. These are technically supposed to be like the gamers, the People's Video Game Awards or whatever. So I could just see some smaller studios that people are just like, yeah. So, yeah. Best game expansion winner: Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. Thumbs up. Solid choice. Other nominees included the Power Wash Simulator DLC. That is just the name of it. I mean, Power Wash Simulator is cool, but that's very funny to see that out there. Elder Scrolls Online Necrom, Dead Cells Returnal Castlevania, Case of the Golden Idol Mysteries, The Lemurian Vampire and the Spider of Lanka. No idea about that. And then a little to the left, Cupboards and Drawers. And obviously we know that the winner next year will be Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail, obviously.
Clearly.
Best Indie Game, their nominees there were Dave the Diver, Pizza Tower, Dredge, Cocoon, Viewfinder, and The Winner, Sea of Stars. All of those very solid indie games I've heard good things about.
I should check out Dave the Diver. I have been interested in that.
Yeah, I've seen some footage. It's all right. And like I'm not interested in Pizza Tower at all, but it exploded very briefly, everywhere on the internet and stuff.
As it do.
Now, here's an interesting one. Your nominees for Best Multiplayer Game are Exoprimal, Diablo 4, Street Fighter 6, Remnant 2, We Were Here Expeditions, The Friendship, and the winner, Mortal Kombat 1. It's a very interesting category. One, shout out to Exoprimal for getting nominated for something. Good for them. I know that game's had a little bit of an awkward launch and is not the greatest to play, but they're trying. And I guess, shout out to Mortal Kombat 1 for winning. And now a very interesting one. Best Audio. Well, I mean, all of those are multiplayer games. It's just that the two fighting games are fighting games. And obviously, you can solo Diablo 4, but that feels fair. That's got a big multiplayer. Diablo feels like it's got a big multiplayer element. But Best Audio, your nominees are, were, I should say, Stray Gods, Hi-Fi Rush, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, Starfield? Legend of Zelda... Yeah, it was in there. That's why I did that lilt. Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And your winner, Final Fantasy 16. That's right, baby. Soken got an award.
I saw him tweet about this. He was
very happy, yes. Very well deserved. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure Hi-Fi Rush and Bomb Rush Cyberpunk have good soundtracks. Tears is a little subtler, but Best Audio is a weird category. If we're including all of the voice acting, there's definitely more higher quality voice acting in Tears than there was in Breath. And Stray Gods is a phenomenal fucking game I need to play myself, but it is a kind of, modern urban fantasy Greek mythology musical, which has, like, multiple different song tracks you can pick as you sing the plot, and the main character is played by Laura Bailey. Singing. So, like, very solid game. Very, very interesting concept. So I'm glad to see it nominated, but...
I'm going to have to put that on a wish list somewhere.
Yeah, 16's music is so good that they released it as a separate DLC for Theater Rhythm, which came out very recently, which is also really good. Like, people are praising that for, like, oh, shit, we can play the rhythm game version of this music now. So, like, all of those real good winners. Don't know what the fuck Starfield is doing here, TBH. Does Starfield have... do people think Starfield has good voice acting? It could have an okay soundtrack. The Skyrim soundtrack is really, really good ambient music. And it's got, like, a couple of, like, really hype compositions. But, like, I am assuming the guy who made that didn't work on Starfield because he has been dealing with some allegations of the sexual assault variety. And so I believe he may have been fired. So, like, I don't know if he was contributing to Starfield. I don't know. Chad, you can answer that one for me. I don't know. Best game trailer was won by Cyberpunk 2077, the official cinematic trailer for Phantom Liberty.
People love the official cinematic trailer. People just go, why can't we have this movie?
This is a really good trailer.
It's a really good trailer.
Honestly, like, production values for trailers and the other ancillary stuff is really good. I watched some of the, just because this, like, YouTube was like, hey, here's a Cyberpunk 27 music mix. I rewatched some of the official videos they got. The one that No Save Point, which was the real life band, was Run the Jewels. I don't remember what their in-universe band name is, but that's just a really good Cyberpunk 2077 themed, like, live action rap video. Like, they just made a good music video that looks like it's in universe, and I was like, damn, I don't remember this looking this good. This is fresh. Like, it's solid. But your other nominees included Alan Wake 2, the Dark Place gameplay trailer. I'm pretty sure I remember that one. Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom official trailer 3. Don't remember which trailer that was, but I assume that's got to be the Ganon one.
Probably.
The Baby Steps reveal trailer. That's fair. I assume that's the like 3D QWOP one is Baby Steps. If I'm remembering that rightly, that trailer is kind of memorable. Mortal Kombat 1 official It's in Our Blood trailer. Don't remember which one that was. And Dave the Diver official release month and accolades trailer. So Dave the Diver got a nom.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, the vid is credit to them as just Run the Jewels. Like, if they wanted to say that Run the Jewels lived to 2077, I'll let them get away with that. Rogue's like 80. Who gives a shit? Now, here's an interesting one. Best Game Community. Your nominees are Final Fantasy XIV, Warframe, Deep Rock Galactic, Dreams, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and your winner, Baldur's Gate 3.
I'm doing a shaky hand gesture here.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like
Lorian Studios in the community is pretty fucking rad and stuff, but 14 and like also fucking Warframe's community have history.
Yeah, I mean, like 14 has had its ups and downs, and this year especially, I don't know. I could see people not feeling like voting on a 14. But it's still a pretty solid and helpful community. Like I don't really have a lot of objections to the community aspect of 14 for the most part. I mean, like you have your hardcore shitters, but every community has that. You can't get rid of them. It's video games.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a decent one. I think it's a little weird to nominate Legend of Zelda as a game community. I guess there were a lot of meme videos about building, though.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Best VR game. I don't know any of these games by name other than Horizon Call the Mountain. Which one? Now, best gaming hardware. Very funny. So PlayStation VR 2 won.
Mm-hmm.
The nominees this were against was Turtle Beach Stealth Pro headset, which is a headset. Alienware 34 AW3423 DWF, which I'm going to look up what that is. That is a monitor. Nitro Deck, which is that a... Oh, it's a handheld deck for your Switch. The Asus ROG Strix Scope 296, which is a keyboard. It's one of those RGB keyboards. And the Samsung 990 Pro, which is... Oh, an SSD. So, this category is fucking weird.
It's a category for people who have money.
I can understand somebody in chat saying this is when Troy Baker started to lose it. I can understand that. Because, like, this category is so weird. You have a VR headset, the complete rig, which there are exclusive games to that. Then you have regular audio headset, a monitor, a deck to hold your Nintendo Switch, a keyboard, and an SSD. That's odd. I don't know how you would pick this.
Oh, no, don't you worry. This is how all electronics are named. You just don't realize it.
No, they are all that bad, but, like, that's why I had to Google, like, each and every one of those, except the headset, which says this is a headset. Then we have some awards that I think were curated, because they don't list nominees, so they just say stuff. So you've got the Breakthrough Award, which went to Cocoon and Geometric Interactive. I assume that's, like, hip new gamers on the scene. The Critics' Choice Award went to Alan Wake 2.
Yep. Good job. A month out and already got an award. Let's go.
Yeah, you got a golden joystick. Pretty good. Best streaming game went to Valorant. Shrug, thumbs up.
Do we need to start playing Valorant on stream?
I don't know if people would watch it. I don't know if I want to play Valorant though. Isn't that made by Riot?
True enough.
I'm good. And then we cycle back to a couple of other categories which are open. So you've got your best lead performer. And this is another one we're very hyped for because this is won by the man, the myth, the legend, Ben Starr for Clive Rossfield, Final Fantasy 16. He's very pleased.
Him in his fucking orange jacket, orange pants, and 16 shirt.
Yeah. I believe he used his speech to talk about Final Fantasy 8. What a baller. Your other nominees included Yuri Lowenthal for Peter Parker in Spider-Man 2.
I do hear he is very good.
Yes, Cameron Monaghan for Cal Kestis in Jedi Survivor.
Also very good.
And they did the thing where they nominated both of the people who portrayed Alan Wake, both Ikla Vili and Matthew Peretta for Alan Wake and Alan Wake 2, so both his live-action actor and his voice actor.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yes. There have been some questions about people about whether or not they awards would do that because Alan is portrayed basically by two people separately, but yeah, no. And that was another nominee. We also Spider-Man 2 got actually no, technically there's a couple games with double nods here because Nancy Jeter got a nomination for Miles Morales in Spider-Man 2. Elise Chappelle got a nominee for a character from the game Deliver Us Mars. Haven't tried that. I think it's on PS Plus, or it might just be the first game, Deliver Us the Moon. But it's like a space kind of mystery game. I'm interested in that. And also, Melanie LeBird got nominated for Saga Anderson and Alan Wake 2. So
nice.
Very, very tight number of nominees as well. And then for
Surprised
Best Supporting...
that Sam Lake didn't get nominated for Casey.
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
And then Best Supporting Performer. This, by the way, this is a lot of hilarious nominees. So you've got Neil Newbin won as Asterion from Baldur's Gate 3. So, yeah, I've seen the internet.
No, it's deserved. I swear to God.
But also, your other nominees are Laura Bailey for Mary Jane in Spider-Man 2. Sissy Jones for Andrea in Starfield. So Starfield did get nominated for a VA award, so maybe that makes sense. It was in Best Audio. Amelia Tyler for the narrator in Baldur's Gate 3.
Have you not?
I've heard
anything?
it. Yes, I've watched the clips.
Okay.
No, that's very good. And of course, Little Sadie didn't get to take it, but Ralph Ineson as Sidolphus Telamon, Final Fantasy 16. He got nommed at least.
He got nommed.
Patricia Somerset for Princess Zelda in Tears of the Kingdom. So, pretty solid. And Idris Elba for Solomon Reed in Cyberpunk. So, yeah, pretty solid noms all around. I think both those performance categories were fucking killers.
Oh, yeah.
Very, that's one of those pleasure just to be nominated type shit. All you people are doing great. Even if I don't know what game you're from, I'm like, okay, if you're in this group with these people, clearly you're doing all right. And then they do something that I actually think is probably a good idea. They have 4 categories for basically each of the major video game outlets. So you've got Nintendo Game of the Year, Tears of the Kingdom 1, obviously.
Duh.
But your nominees included Pikmin 4, Fire Emblem Engage, Metroid Prime Remastered, Octopath 2, and Fae Farm. So,
Fae Farm, really?
Yeah, I got a nom.
Wow.
PC Game of the Year went to Baldur's Gate 3 again.
Duh.
Actually, Shadow Gambit Cursed Crew is on here, so I guess that makes sense that studio Mimimi got nominated as well.
Oh, okay.
So very solid. Your other noms included Diablo 4, Dave the Diver, Chia, and the System Shock remake.
I need to put that on a wish list.
I've been kind of waiting for the console port, but I might pick it up on PC since I've got new machine. And now a very odd one: PlayStation Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Winner: Resident Evil 4 remake. All right, okay, I liked it, but your other nominees included Final Fantasy 16, Street Fighter 6, Humanity, Armored Core 6, and Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I mean, I guess in terms of raw sales, RE4 probably capped out most of those, but damn.
I think this one wins due to nostalgia bait, if I'm gonna be real.
Yeah, I mean, Resident Evil 4, the original, is a iconic game. It is a piece of gaming history.
And they did improve upon it in almost every single fucking way, so...
There's also, I would argue, another case of the slight recency bias, because they had the DLC come out recently. That is the most recent release after Armored Core. And unfortunately, Armored Core is awkward because, it's hard. They literally had to nerf Baltius, that's a hard game to get into. The truth, they got filtered. Filter copter. Yes, RE4 was technically multi-platform, though. I don't, because this is, I believe, supposed to be a People's Choice type awards, if PlayStation players are voting, they preferred RE4, that makes sense. Because not all of the Xbox games are, whatchamacallit, Xbox exclusive, though some of them are. Your Xbox nominees were Starfield, which won. Makes sense. It is kind of like your one of your full few bulletproof hype releases. Chance of Sennar, Hi-Fi Rush, Planet of Lana, Dead Space, and Pentiment. Some of those are actually Xbox exclusive. I do find it a little weird that they fucking nominated Dead Space there.
Probably because they didn't have any other game.
You want to say Dead Space? Oh, well, that's also true. Yes, no. It's funny that almost all. I think literally 5 out of the 6 PlayStation nominees are all multi-platform. And then at least half, if not more, of the Xbox ones are exclusive. But the winner was Starfield. So then they have a big category for Most Wanted Game. The winner, shocking no one, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Let's go.
It is right around the corner. But the nominees, I think, are also pretty solid, reminding you that games are good. The other nominees could have been Death Stranding 2, Star Wars Outlaws, Tekken 8, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. I can understand why that one didn't win, but yeah.
Yeah.
Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl.
Yep.
Hades 2.
Yep.
This just says Fable, so is that announced as a remake of the original Fable?
I don't know. I think that whatever they got going on is still up in the air, if I remember correctly.
There's something. Hollow Knight Silksong. Everywhere. Frostpunk 2. Yeah, there's a game just called Everywhere. Frostpunk 2. Arc 2. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater.
Thank you. I'm glad it was there.
Persona 3 Reload. Bulwark Falconeer Chronicles. Haven't heard of that. Another one that's kind of weird that they put in this category, but maybe somebody wants this. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Warner Brothers probably cast them a check. That game was literally delayed a year because its trailers were received its trailers and its gameplay explanations were received so poorly. And David Zaslav, the reviled CEO of the Warner Brothers conglomerate, says they're going to focus on live service games from now on. We're having fun, kids. But we got a few more. You've got Pacific Drive, Black Myth Wukong, Banisher Ghosts of Eden made the list. Appreciate it. And Warhammer Age of Sigmar Realms of Ruin. So
Rogue Trader didn't make it there? Interesting.
No, yeah, not on that list. That is kind of sad because there are definitely some possible stinkers in there, but I don't know. Are any of these? It might be that they have a cutoff. Technically, I believe Rogue Trader launches in December, so they might only be taking games that are from next year. Actually,
I suppose.
And then Ultimate Game of the Year is a very big category that people voted on. So the winner was Baldur's Gate 3.
I'm not mad.
No, I think a lot of us have been kind of expecting it. But in general, I think all of these noms are pretty much bangers. So you've got Tears of the Kingdom, Spider-Man 2,
Yarp.
Jedi Survivor,
Yarp.
Alan Wake 2, RE4 Remake, Cocoon, Starfield. I mean, yeah, but it's worth noting, especially if it's a voting category. Final Fantasy 16, gotta know.
Yarp.
Diablo 4. Again, that was kind of but people did buy it. Forza Motorsport, which, hey, fair. We've said this many times, but, we're not in the Forza circle, but some people are really into Forza.
If you want to drive cars, go for it.
Armored Core 6.
Yep, Yarp.
Assassin's Creed Mirage made this list. Good for them.
Yeah.
Generally, I do believe people have been saying it's kind of a return to basics, which is good. Super Mario Bros. Wonder made the list. That's a game I have to get myself because that's another one that people say very high quality. Street Fighter 6, Metroid Prime Remastered, Hi-Fi Rush, Lords of the Fallen made this list.
Really?
Yeah. I think people are saying it's pretty good. The Dead Space remake made the list, and Sea of Stars also made this list.
Yeah.
As a nominee. So, all in all, yeah, Golden Joysticks, doing all right, held in person. They're doing a lot of stuff out there. They've got like big wins for Baldur's Gate, obviously, but I think a decent spread of nominations and awards for other categories. 16 got to go home with 2 awards.
Yeah.
And plenty of noms, which I appreciate. And I am glad that also Cyberpunk is getting its flowers as well. Phantom Liberty really deserves it. And still decent amounts of win out there. And Tears of the Kingdom doesn't appear to be as much of a killer app as Breath of the Wild was, but is also still getting mentioned. I think it does deserve that. And again, shocking nobody. Alan Wake 2 picking quite a few there. That's a real interesting game, y'all. If you haven't been, which some of you have not, threatening finger, check out the bonus streams we've been doing. We're about 10 hours into the game, and it's real interesting. They definitely have been. Remedy has definitely been improving their craft this entire time. Lucky is playing, so you've said that you're not 100% on the combat because it does lean a little more towards the survival horror type stuff. But overall,
the storytelling and visuals are delicious.
Their presentation is the fact that I talked about this, but one of your primary characters, Saga, she has this place she calls the Mind Place, where you can just push a button and go into her mind realm and keep track of all your collectibles and put together clues and stuff. Is wow, that's really cool. And you can check the map there and do upgrades, and then it starts to get freaky, when you do profiling. That'd mostly be unlucky, but I could see us doing a backtrack to make sure we're getting everything.
If I do a backtrack, it probably won't be on stream.
Yeah, that might be a pre-stream something. It does seem like they are setting it up so that's easier. Last stream, Lucky found maps where it marked all the cultist caches in a couple of different areas. Yeah. So making it easier to do some backtracking and stuff. But yeah, it's it's a real interesting game. A lot of stuff going on there, and just
a lot of questions
when they do the trippy parts. Again, crediting Alan Wake as 2 separate people because he has both a live action performer and a normal VO. They do some weird shit that I have not seen other video games do, where they do this seamless switch back and forth from in-engine gameplay type stuff to live action and back and looping and flowing, and it's trippy. It's a good time.
It is a good time.
But yeah, 2023, good year for video games.
Also, no word on Stellar Blade. Here's hoping that we get something at the Game Awards, because that is something the Game Awards is also very good about. It's releasing new trailers.
Yeah.
And announcements and stuff.
Wow, okay. Hasn't been super updated. Because the Wikipedia still says it's slated for this year. That's not happening.
It is. That is not happening.
There's 2 months left in a month and 2/3 left in this year. They don't have a release date. It's not. But there was Insider Gaming did publish a story in September of this year saying no new exact details of when it will release, but we got some more. It will be single player. There's no multiplayer on. And likely no microtransactions or single packs. And it does say it will have a disc, so there will be a physical release.
I'm getting that special edition, y'all.
Yeah, so
if they get one, it's gonna happen. Okay.
So they're still cooking. They've got press, but it doesn't seem like they're in a position where they're ready to lock in that date just yet. But yeah, I'm hopeful for a VGA. Let me see. What are my 2-bit predictions for Video Game Awards? Definitely you're gonna see a new trailer for the Elden Ring DLC because they've been quiet about it for about a year. And you will probably see a new trailer for Death Stranding 2 from Hideo Kojima. Wouldn't be shocked if there was a Stellar Blade trailer, possibly with a date or a window for sometime next year. I'm trying to think. We could get a new Rebirth trailer, but I don't think we need them.
No, we're probably gonna save that for the official trailer in January. I'm gonna think.
Like, I mean, yeah, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna have a demo in the back pocket for Rebirth that they're gonna drop sometime. Because there have been playable hands-on demos that several people have gotten at the various trade shows, so I'm sure that will be released to the public at some point. But you know, um, where exactly and how exactly, I don't know. And I'm like, should there be any other like? Again, it's like for a lot of these games, it's do we need any more hype? Like, do we need new trailers for like like a Dragon 8?
No, probably not.
Do we like they're already in like individual character trailers and shit for whatchamacallit, for like P3R, like that. Also, it's a remake, so like that doesn't really need the hype. That's all in there. So yeah, I'm just trying to think, and it's like I don't really know what. I mean, they'll have some stuff that'll shock us. There'll be brand new trailers. Hey, Spider-Man 2 is out. Maybe we'll see a follow-up on Insomniac's Wolverine game. They've got some people on that. There have been rumors that there may be a DLC planned, like a story DLC for God of War Ragnarok. So we may see some info on that, but we'll have to continue to play it by ear and see. And there are other like unrelated announcements that have come out that we might get more for. Like I'm pretty sure at BlizzCon, WoW announced they've got their new X-Pack cooking for World of Warcraft. So there's plenty of stuff going on there. So yeah, I don't know exactly what they got, but I'm sure it'll be a fun time. And then there'll be some stuff that like Jeff Keighley's gonna come out and try and get us really hyped for, and we're just gonna be kind of mid on, and that's just the name of the business.
I am most interested to see if there's gonna be fucking giant glass panels between him and the goddamn audience this year.
Yeah, or will we see burly guys in suits standing at all the audience facing stairs up from the to the stage? I don't know. They're definitely gonna revamp security. But yeah, we'll have to see what stuff is there, and they're gonna release their nominees soon that you can all vote on. So that'll be very fun. And I'm sure next week we'll talk about all the nominees as you do. But yeah, that's where we're at. Got a few things then to keep talking about. Like a Dragon Gaiden just came out. Manu erased his name. Reviews are generally favorable.
Yeah.
Let me. That's right. I've found that I find OpenCritic pretty good. Yeah, so it's about the same on both. It's 79 on OpenCritic, 78 on Metacritic. Still leaning towards the positive. No like outright bad reviews. The user score on Metacritic is 8.8, so a little bit higher for what I'm sure are the diehard fans.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure. I am loath to think that this. I know it probably is for some people, but I am loath to believe that people pick this one as their first Yakuza game.
Yes. Like
I just want to put a little bit of doubt there.
I'm seeing several reviews that are like, it's not for not for beginners and stuff like that. There are some reports from reviews that and I believe that Ryuga Gotoku straight up said this was originally planned as a separate DLC story for 8, but they managed to make it its own game to kind of like, because timeline wise it makes more sense to come out before 8.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of the bridge content there, but it was originally probably like a 6-hour DLC that has been stretched to like a 10-hour game. It's not like, it's not super long. They're not asking full price for it. It exists. And a lot of people have been praising the combat system. So like, it seems like it's doing what they want it to do.
Yeah.
There has been a little bit of feistiness because it's got an English dub. People have been, well, I mean, I will say on some stuff, people have been picking on the English VA they hired for Kiryu Youngye because he's, gasp, a YouTuber. And like, in general, the vibe seems to be that like he's still a little too young to maybe be playing Kiryu. Like, doesn't have the right vibe for when this game is set. There's been some early real footage of him doing the karaoke in English as Kiryu for Like a Dragon 8, but I don't want to like way too hard on that because like that's, first pass shit. It's not finalized.
I am. Sorry, I'm one of those people. Like this might upset some people, but I'm one of those guys who will turn to a person and go, "You play Yakuza in English?"
Yeah, I mean
that's my usual
Yeah.
first thing. It's like what?
that
I can't even
that would
get
be my own comment. Like I don't like you can't I don't know if you've been playing the games in Japanese how you would not want to hear Kazuma Kiryu in Japanese. It is an iconic performance. I've also heard some other people say that like this is another like big marketing factor for Yakuza is a lot of the supporting characters are just actors in Japan who are like face scanned in, like so
Yeah.
like they're part of the draw. I get that like for some people subtitles are just not as easy to do, like whether it's you're not as fast on like your reading speed or whatever. So like it's cool that they have an English dub. I know that they've kind of like gone back and forth on that.
I mean, yeah, if they have like good, if like, people think like the other ones are good and one like good on you, but it's just one of those things. Like I can't imagine playing Yakuza in English. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like it confuses me. So I don't want to necessarily like. I think I have too much bias towards Japanese
Yeah,
Like a Dragon
and that's
to,
what I would say is like I don't have anything against this guy personally, which it seems like some people do, but like I'm not gonna hear his performance because I'm not gonna play a Yakuza game in English. Like, good on him for getting hired and getting paid, and somebody in the casting department had to pick him. And no, it wasn't because he's a YouTuber, because I haven't ever heard of him as a YouTuber, only as him doing voice roles now. But it's just that's not how I prefer to play because I am used to I guess multilingual games, following along in English text and listening to the Japanese audio and catching a few Japanese words here and there. But yeah, it's it's just one of those things where it's like I hear these things, I see these things, I think people are possibly overreacting, but it is
honestly,
a thing people think of.
Also, just Takia Kurata is that's the voice of Kiryu for me. I can't not.
Yeah, no, he's been the
just his crooning voice and just down here and just like
you said crooning and Chad, what started playing in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't played that many Yakuza games and I still get the stuff, but yeah, it's like I don't know.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
I play that shit on my Spotify.
But no, it's a solid. So yeah, like it's out there in the oeuvre, but I can't,
Again, at some point, I will continue getting through my goddamn Yakuza games and actually fucking catch up. I still need to beat Lost Judgment.
That's on my list too. I'm not even thinking about
Oh, I do believe they did mention something about Kaito from Lost Judgment making an appearing in what was it, 8?
Ooh, Kaito cameo?
Yeah, I believe so.
All right, neato. Good for Kaito-san. I mean, out of the characters, it would make sense for him because one, I mean, have you seen how he dresses? But two, he fit right in Hawaii. But also two, he's actually connected to the Dojima family.
Mm-hmm.
Like openly was sworn, as opposed to, sorry, slight yawn. But opposed to talk. Like like I said, it's one of those weird things where like, do I watch anything Fate related in English? No, because that would be weird. I'm used to hearing everything that I do hear in Japanese, so no shame on people for trying. And like I said, that talking about like how sometimes adaptations can reach an audience who wouldn't be as reached in the original. That the same can go for like localization. But I think that's got a bigger deal for like text than visual audio. But some people are not fast readers. You know, it's perfectly all right for them.
Like he's reading at speed. I've never had a problem with it. So
Yeah, no, I'm also like I mean, this is a thing that has come up on streams before. When they have voice dialogue and written dialogue, I have to slow myself down because I read and comprehend much faster than most people speak. And I still do occasionally get distracted and will read a line and then clip it off in like 14 before the actor finishes. Sorry, but we're moving along. All right. Well, let's see. I mean, I got a few small stuff, as people can see highlighted in there. But Lucky, I know you said you might want to talk about a few things. So,
I think I got on most of what I want.
Okay, you said that. You think you said all that?
Well, yeah. Well, I think the main thing is I wanted to talk about is like again, I think I've figured out why like a lot of like mobile games don't actually get the recognition, and I'm hoping Nikkei can at least get a couple noms in there, if for nothing else, just so it can get some of the recognition that I know it deserves, and maybe people like, because this is the problem like that Nikkei has, because Shift Up is like they have a very what's the word I want to say? What's the term I want to use? Notable character designs. Like, I'm pretty sure everyone has seen the Nikkei female designs and just how the girls look with like the jiggly physics everywhere, tits, ass, and hip everywhere. But people don't understand. They're kind of like that with all their character designs. Like, have you seen the fucking men? Like fucking Anderson and his abs, Johan and his fucking, his like I am like fucking, oh god, I don't even know what like. Apparently he's supposed to be like a 40 to 50-year-old man, but he looks like he's like in his like mid-20s and will fucking, freeze you with a glance.
Looks like he's been carved from stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like characters of like other stuff. Like, no, their character design is just really good. Like the music by Cosmograph is like amazing on so many levels. Like we've actually like there's been, oh god, I think like some of the official music videos just have like so many goddamn views in there. The story is amazing. Gameplay, I don't know. I guess gameplay can be like take it or leave it depending on what you like. Like I said, it is technically what you can consider an arcade shooter. You're just shooting. It's like you're playing fucking I was about to say Revolution X, but I don't know if anyone knows that fucking game.
Sorry, I just tabbed over. I was just thinking about game scores. It's in my notes as Modern Warfare 3 is bad. I just saw its open critic score for the first time, 55. Sorry, distract me for a second. Give me a big oof. But yeah, I did a quick Google search to see what Google is saying about you type in just Nikkei, 2Ks. And a lot of it is just, social media routing. They've got their actual website. They've got the Wikipedia. They've got their Facebook. By the way, Nikkei has a Facebook. They're on, YouTube. They've got a fandom wiki. You got to scroll down a little to get to, like, Apple stores and Google Play stores, but it's there. Twitch has got it for a category. Instagram, other shit like that. So, like, all, pretty normal big stuff. Even if you go to images, like, it's honestly not like the images that Google Images throws up, not that horny. Like, I don't know. There's some areas of the internet where like anything that could be remotely construed as fan service is like really talked down these days. We're getting like almost like a neo-prudish thing going on. But like generally it's just like, yeah, they're anime style waifus. Yes, they remember that, the legs, the thighs is I think the thing that like Nikkei is known for. And obviously the rear shot, but honestly, like most of these pictures that I'm Googling don't really go that way. They show the character designs from the front. And also interestingly enough, the images that show up a lot are their collabs. Like they've got like some of the new event stuff, and like the Nier and the Chainsaw Man collabs are like very high on the list of like returned images.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I know that there are some people who will be like, gasp, this character has a short skirt, you can see her thigh squish? Too much for me. But like it does, like you said, their designs have a very, consistent stylization, both male and female, but their marketing is not overly horny. We know what overly horny, directly horny marketing looks like. It's called Azure Lane. You can't hide from me, Azure Lane. I see you on Twitter. I see your official images.
No, so it's just like, again, I'm always. Also, it's just one of those things. Is like, especially around the video game awards, I feel like their mobile category is always so weird.
Well, yeah, no, it's. Let me actually hold on. For comparison, let's pull up 2022. Game Awards 2022. Let me see. Yes, best mobile game. Your nominees for that were Marvel Snap, which won, which is fair. Like, I haven't played it, but people like it. Apex Legends Mobile, Diablo Immortal, Genshin Impact, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure was also nominated for something else and won already, and Tower of Fantasy, which, like, was the new hotness when that came out, but I do kind of feel like really did not keep taking off. Like, I haven't heard anything about it since last year, other than I think I saw that it is coming to PlayStation finally. But like, yeah, no. Genshin, I'm pretty sure was already nominated and won. Apex Legends Mobile is the mobile port of Apex Legends. And Diablo Immortal is infamously a, huge whale sink. And also, like, even though Axe brought up, it sounds like games the judges played. Yeah, I bet they did play them, but, like, I mean, I don't know. I don't actually, the process I've heard a little bit from some of the, like, outlets that actually get these responses. I don't actually know how they do this. It sounds like it's almost like they give you 5 blank boxes to write in, like, your official picks from, like, your studio. So it is entirely possible that, like, if the Game Awards has 5 slots and you either leave a slot blank or you just write in, your 5th game is something you've heard of, like, this is often their problem with Best Fighting Game, is just there's not enough names to write in. I could see that like, a decent number of studios just wrote in Diablo Immortal because they couldn't think of anything else to pick, or, they played it, like, on a press tour and didn't have to deal with all the microtransactions the same way. And then it just slips in just because there's no other contenders. In that case, I mean, that's a fundamental flaw of how the Gaming Awards takes their nominees. And, like, they should loosen it up and improve, because there are occasionally times, like Best Mobile Game and, like, Best... Where is Best Fighting? Yeah, Best Fighting, where it's, like, you get a lot of weird shit. They put fucking Sifu in Best Fighting Game, even though that's definitely not traditionally a fighting game. Fucking, I mean, I'm glad, but, like, they nominated JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Arstal Battle R last year for Best Fighting Game because they just didn't have enough fighting games. That will not happen this year, I don't think. I think there have been probably enough big names.
Yeah,
and even if there haven't, I mean, Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat can fight it out.
I mean, that's the only 2 you probably really got to put on there, if I'm going to be real.
Yeah, I mean, I do actually, I'm pretty sure, and have to double check, but I think there have been other games this year that would count in that category, but, those are the big ones that are going to slam a jam. But yeah, the like you said, their mobile gaming category is very loosey-goosey and does seem to favor studios who are giant and have lots of money to spend. Not necessarily the case, like, Marvel Snap did win, and that does seem to be from a smaller studio. The guy who makes that game, who always shows up in the flannels, is very excited about it, which I'm glad that game won. But yeah, it seems like the nominees are definitely a little loosier and or goosier.
If it doesn't get a nom, I'm going to message Jeff Keighley on Twitter and ask him, yo.
Go for it. Get that engagement, that ground level. And like, it's not like they can't get foreign developers out to accept awards if they win. You know, fucking Elden Ring took home a shitload of awards, and they had the big names from out there to take the stage. You know, and you know, God help you, they can get people from America. As much as we love him, we all know Christopher Judge's speech was a little too long.
Has a Guinness World Record.
But yeah, like it's a terrible shame because I feel like mobile gaming is evolving, especially because not all these games are mobile. Actually, shit. Now I'm wondering, will Ever Crisis make that list?
It might.
It might. Still waiting on that Steam port. I don't remember.
Yeah,
I don't remember to keep clicking it on my phone, even though they're doing a very interesting sounding FF9 collab right now. I don't remember to pull it up on my phone, and also every time I do open it up on my phone, I have to download another gigabyte of data.
Yeah, it's way too big. It's too big for my phone. I'm gonna be real. I'm just like, oof.
It's cool.
And it doesn't want to work on any other devices, and I don't know why.
But probably because the version that's on phones is optimized for phones. Steam port. I know you announced it, but please release it. But yeah, no, I'm like I said, I bounced off Nikke because I tried playing it relatively early back when it was more buggy.
Mm-hmm.
It had quite a few crashes, and I just haven't had a super strong desire to go back. That's genuinely how I feel about a lot of games where people are like, this game is emotionally devastating to me, and I'm like, okay, I gotta be in a certain mood to like wind up to get into that when that's the thing people say about it. So I may go back at some point. I think it is on Steam, so I could play it on PC.
It has its own personal PC launcher.
It's also got a straight up PC client. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I may try it that way.
Well, that's the reason why I like Nikke. It is emotionally devastating, but it has a lot of lightheartedness in it too. Like the story's depressing and stuff and thought evoking. But then we'll get then you'll get an event where you just have to chase around a bunch of dogs that got escaped, and it's cute.
Yeah, so
I can
give it a look-see now that it's stabilized, but I have nothing against it, and like I wouldn't mind it because it seems popular and well liked by people who enjoy these things, and I think that's a qualifier for being nominated for an award. Hey, do people who know about these kinds of genres like and appreciate this game? They want to play it, they want to see it get recognition. That's probably worth some nominations. God knows that, like, okay. So I was about to say the people playing those mobile games that were nominated, are they a truly dedicated fan base? That may be true for Diablo Immortal, just because that game is wired to require you to be play it as a full-time job or pay lots of money. But like, are there like diehard Apex mobile players out there who are like rocking a community and a quality of like enjoyment better than even Genshin? Like, I don't know, man. That seems weird. I don't know. Not about that. It could. I feel like there's the room for like recognition in this space, and I hope we can get a little bit of a breakthrough. But yeah, so if Lucky doesn't have any Nikke specific thoughts to talk about other than just our generalities, I got a couple things to run through. I mean, the Modern Warfare 3 thing was just something I wrote down. We talked about this like on an earlier stream because the campaign released early and people were like $70 DLC. And now that the game is fully released, the general vibe seemed to continue from that in that Modern Warfare 3 is bad. It's still like a front page seller on Steam, which to be honest, not that surprising. I think the remake of Modern Warfare, or I guess we call it a remake. The new Modern Warfare 2 was decently well received, right?
Right.
So like usually you don't see the pains of a bad franchise release until the next entry in the franchise. It takes a while for the fatigue to catch up. Take a look, for instance, at The Marvels, which honestly, by all accounts, is an okay movie and may have some stuff for like the future franchise, but like it's coming off some tail end of some bum releases and some general like fatigue and people having this problem where they assume that they have to watch every movie or every Disney Plus series to catch up. And you don't really, because I don't think they're building towards an Avengers right now. Unless they're building towards X-Men versus Avengers, which also don't do that. Yeah, I don't know. Like, classic gacha games might not, and like FGO certainly has its age. Obviously, the client has been around since 2015, so like
Yeah.
we're deep in there. But like, I don't know. I think some like 2D or live 2D gacha games are actually slick enough that they're gonna get their markers. And could. And if they won't, then this may be why every studio is working on their sequel. I do believe Girls Frontline Exilium has some new footage and stuff. I'm still waiting for that. I'll try it out. Girls Frontline XCOM in 3D. I'll do it. I'm also interested in Granblue Fantasy Relink, But if that's like what studios got to do to get their noms, get their flowers, okay. But I don't know. It's just I genuinely can't imagine, chat, that all of the outlets who like pick these nominees don't have some guys who aren't willing to like pop up in their phone and like jam some Nikkei on the side, You don't got one guy in your outlet that does that? Maybe not. I don't know. Like I said, there's certainly a bias in certain outlets against some of the gacha type models, but Miyoyo can throw around a little money and get Genshin nominated for multiple things. Even though the people presenting that award didn't know how to say Genshin Impact.
Genshin.
It lives in forever. But yeah, speaking of oversteps, I really hope Modern Warfare 3 is not nominated for any awards because it doesn't sound like it deserves them. Not through any fault of the people actually making the game. So Activision normally has like 2 or 3 studios working on COD, right? And they rotate them. They rotate them so that you can usually take about 3 years to make a new game. Modern Warfare 3 was apparently made in about I think 16 or 18 months by the same studio that did our last work. And so it generally sounds like it was hell. Very tight deadlines, little turnaround time, possibly some limitations in quality control and QA testing. And I read out the Open Critic score earlier. It's doing poorly. People are not happy. It has sold a decent amount. Some of that was probably pre-orders. Some people are probably going like, well, I heard the campaign sucks, but I'm literally not here for that. I am just going to play multiplayer, or Warzone or whatever, stuff like that, right?
All right.
But the question is going to be when we go to the next game, right? When we come up with our next title, Modern Warfare 4 or whatever the fuck the next Call of Duty is, will that one sell as well? Because people are going to remember, oh yeah, didn't Modern Warfare 3 kind of suck. The campaign was terrible. Did the multiplayer work out, et cetera, et cetera. Do I really want to pay $70 for that again? Kind of a thing. And it could have long-term impacts. It's certainly not something that I suspect Xbox is very happy about, having just finalized their multi-billion-dollar acquisition of Blizzard, to hear that their latest Call of Duty, even if that was like the last one they did as kind of like a big PlayStation send-up, is kind of a lead balloon. Because now it's theirs. They own it. That's yours now, Xbox. This is you. And even if, like, obviously Xbox had no influence on it, they, like, literally finalized the acquisition, like, last month, I think, technically. It's still, they're part of the Xbox studio, and it's like, this is the thing. So, yeah. Not doing super hot. Which is kind of a shame, because, like, I'm fond of the old Modern Warfare games, but I never really understood why they had to, like, remake them. It's weird.
I'm okay with the remakes, personally.
They're all right. Like I said, it feels like it's a little too recent, but it's okay. I mean, it's not like Call of Duty has ever been particularly, like, finicky about not reusing names and stuff, And, like, I guess Price is kind of iconic. So
honestly, I think it's probably because of the price and just how Modern Warfare was like the big thing of like the PS3 age.
Yeah, and it certainly had memorable characters. I think a lot of people remember Makarov. He got some speeches in, Captain Price. Soap got some stuff. They kind of like reworked the skull-faced guy, Ghost Gaz, whatever his actual name is. I don't remember which character he's supposed to be in the new trilogy, but he was kind of iconic. There's a reason why they got his voice actor to do all the lines when you were like Task Force 131 or whatever. Like, he's the guy saying, Predator missile inbound. We'll get him next time. Those lines have seeped into the ethos of the people who played the multiplayer. Like, if I just say Predator missile incoming in the right tone of voice, some people are going to be like, huh, what, where? Look up. Care package inbound. Care package on the way. Sadly, the one when you're Op 4 and the Russian SAS aren't as memorable because they were usually yelling in, Arabic or Russian. Though I think it's the Op 4, which is the generic Arabian terrorist group. I think I remember they would yell like "Tego Suka," and that's just stuck in my mind because that was one of their that was their version of Tango Down. And I'm just like, and whoever that actor was, he fucking sent it. He yelled that shit out. Anyway, let's talk about good shit.
Yeah.
So, now it's my turn to have watched something new on the Netflix and pitch it to y'all. So, I mentioned last week that Netflix had advertised me in another animated show called Blue Eye Samurai.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I got to check this out. Well, I've checked it out. And my general response is very positive, very good, thumbs up. So, it's kind of interesting, I talked about, this is kind of a first for this studio doing it, but it's very well animated, very well made. Like, it looks great, got a lot of good character acting, a lot of good little details, and there are times when they get very stylized in the appropriate way, so it is a very good-looking show. And it's also very well shot. Spoilers, but it's a samurai, series, so you're probably going to want to know about fights. Fights are good. They have really good choreo. Not just, the sword duels you'd expect, but there's barehanded stuff, booby traps. At one point, our main character, Mizu, fights an entire gang of guys called the Thousand Claws, and they all have tiger claws type weapons. There is some Naginata type action in there. It's real good. Really well made. Before I even give you the pitch, I will warn you. This is clearly inspired by samurai movies, and the duo who made this, husband and wife, by the way, with the wife Amber Noizumi obviously being of Japanese descent herself. Fun fact, actually, they first had their idea for this series because they have a biracial daughter who has blue eyes, and so they were like, "Huh, neat."
That's pretty neat.
Yeah. So it's Michael Green and Amber Noizumi. They were the lead showrunners and writers for this, telling some interesting stuff. And they've written a couple of other scripts and treatments. One of which was the movie version, Logan. So
what?
Yeah. No,
Wow.
I think they wrote the script behind Logan.
Ooh.
So they were the writers behind, producers behind Boy Samurai, and Michael Green, I believe, worked on Logan and some other stuff. So yeah, there's some stuff in there. So that's your tone. It's a stand-up of samurai movies, so there's a lot of violence, a lot of dismemberment, a lot of blood everywhere. Losing thumbs and fingies and stuff. At one point, we don't go full hit a dude with another dude, but some guy does lose his leg, and then a character then beats up a new guy with the leg.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah, no, it's very intense. Also, another, to double down on maybe not watching this in your living room in front of your family or with your little old granny with a weak heart, lots of naked people. This show is not afraid to hang dong, and I'm here for it.
Nice.
there are naked men and women. There are sex scenes, and there are group shots that you weren't expecting of people to be nude. So there's quite a lot of hanging dong on screen. Also, was not expecting it, but the show isn't shy about getting in their main characters in on this. The main character Mizu has a full frontal scene in the first episode. So definitely curate who you watch this with. Do not watch in a bus in public. You may get some weird questions, but it hits the style level appropriately. So it's 8 episodes. I believe they're mostly in the 45-ish minute range. So it's a pretty smooth watch. I watch it in 2 evenings. It's very well produced. Your pitch here is basically it has the opening crawl, right? The opening stinger. Which sets the time and place, and basically it brings up how in 1633, that's when Japan closed its borders.
Mm-hmm.
No Westerners allowed. Ostensibly, but it talks about how if for some reason during this time period you were to have a mixed race child, they would be very poorly thought of, considered inhuman, monstrous. Hey, our protagonist has blue eyes. They're biracial. It's the thing. So that's our main character, Mizu. Their mother was a Japanese woman, and they're looking for a white European father, and it is basically a story of macro scale revenge. Mizu and their mother were super, looked down on, oppressed. There are, flashbacks to Mizu as a child getting, bullied in the streets type shit. Rocks thrown at them, etc. And basically it's a story of revenge where Mizu is trying to find the 4 European men who would have been in Japan when Mizu was born after the borders were closed. In particular, the story is the pursuit of one of those guys.
Is it William Adams?
No.
Okay.
I think it's original characters, but I don't know for sure.
Okay.
I have to double check. I don't know how overall historical the series is. It's definitely got the. Okay, no, it is straight up alternate history. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw a note here. So yeah, it is in Shogunate, but they don't mention the Tokugawa clan. It uses the Ito clan as well.
Okay.
And it does kind of for the vibes, it kind of underplays the Japanese knowledge of the gun. While they are meant to be, modern 1600s muskets, obviously from the Sengoku period, they would know about the arquebus. But yeah, like I said, I don't know how historically tight it is in. But it's very good. It's 8 episodes, and I basically feel like every episode is an escalation. They will have a scene where they're like, "Oh, hey, here's several dozen dudes for Mizu to beat the shit out of. Remember how cool that was? Well, hey, it's the next episode. Here's another several dozen dudes. What are we gonna do now?" But it's also got like I said, very great visuals with both the fight choreography and the. There are some stylized moments. There are a point where they use a kind of combination kabuki puppet show play as a metaphor. So they've got people in all black puppeting around the figures. There's one point where Mizu gets super fucked up on some kind of bad news drug powder, and shit gets real stylized visually.
Yeah, the drug trip. Let's go.
Yeah, some zingers in there, and it's got some great back and forth work. It's also generally got, I would say, positive portrayals of people who are physically disabled. In the first episode, Mizu runs into Ringo, a noodle chef who was born with a congenital defect, so he doesn't have hands. but he's still like generally positive and go-getting and is like kind of the heart of the whole show, because despite the fact that he's been dealt a really shitty lot by life. Yes, I did choose not to say hand there, chat. But he's been, he's in a bad way, but he tries his best. He wants to be great at something. And apparently he is okay at cooking noodles.
Hell yeah.
And other stuff. And Mizu's, kind of mentor and adopted father figure is a character just referred to as the Sword Father, but he's a blacksmith who's blind. And he taught Mizu, which, that kind of like underpins their relationship as a child. Mizu needs a place to run away. And the blacksmith is blind, so he's like, yeah, I don't care. I can't see your racial coding, kid. Can you hammer steel? It would be nice if somebody fetched my tongs. It would be nice if somebody poured me a cup of tea. And like he's not like magical or anything, but he's also like it's all real good runs of everybody, and there's some really good strong scenes. And all in all, it's it's a good look. They got some twisties and some turnies, but I think there's some great character stuff. Like I said, the action is really good. And y'all should check it out if you're into that kind of stuff. It ends with the sequel hook, so we will see if Netflix makes a new season.
Let's go.
Oh, also I should say, the music is very good as well. They have, an original composition and theme full of the right kind of instruments, but they also do occasionally pepper in modern music in a few places for good use. They use that one scene from Battles That Honor Humanity, you know it if you hear it. They also have a Japanese cover of Metallica's "For Whom the Bell Tolls" they used during an episode.
Really?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, no, like they know when to switch up the music and stuff to get some good vibes. So like, it's rad. Also, I know obviously it's not literally an anime, but if you need to know how anime it is, Mizu literally wears training weights. They have weights around wrist and ankle that they can shed to get faster. Pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Check it out if you haven't. It's a good time, and like I said, it's only 8 episodes, so it won't take you too long. Actually, what? I know I do this every week, but I'm terrible with the progress of linear time. What day is Scott Pilgrim Takes Off? The 17th, so less than a week. Okay.
Next Friday.
Yeah, nice. I wonder if that'll be like, midnight when it rolls over. I hope so. I'll get in there. But yeah, so Netflix animation continues to kill it.
I'll call that another win for mature animation.
Yes, no, very solid, and it's 3D style, CG style, so we're getting a broad breadth. You've got several different studios bringing these kinds of stylings to things. I have heard some people deign to talk down to Castlevania Nocturne and Captain Laserhawk, but they are wrong. Those shows are good. So hopefully, the whatchamacallit, the Scott Pilgrim will be kind of a capstone to this animation run for Netflix. And yeah, let's see, we can go for 2:45. We can probably wrap up in a little bit. The only other thing is that it did finally happen. The SAG strike ended.
Yep.
Shocking nobody, given that how the writers' strike went and things were going. It didn't, the studios did eventually break. They looked at how much money they were going to lose and were losing and decided to, ratchet it around. Good for them. So this means that a lot of release dates, I think, did get pushed for stuff that was more recently coming out, but, it's resolved now, so production will hopefully continue. It sounds like they got a decent package of their deal there. I don't know if they've ratified the contract exactly, but the SAG-AFTRA has called off the strike. So it will be interesting to see how things shake out. But yeah, watch Blue Eye Samurai. It's cool.
I'm gonna have to definitely.
Oh yeah,
Look
no,
at
like
it.
I know you. You will find it interesting and good. Mizu has a special sword. It's made from a meteor.
Sick.
But yeah, no, there's real good stuff in there. So I'll definitely rep it, and I'm having a hard time thinking how Scott Pilgrim Takes Off could be bad, but you know, I'm sure we'll be repping it in a week's time too. But yeah, let's see. It's a little after 10. We've been going for about 3 hours. A handful of people are starting to filter out. You know, we're tailing ending here.
Yeah.
So we can probably wrap her up here. And yeah, that's the show, as it were. We've peppered through everything. So, Lucky, anything else to add before we go?
No, that's it for me.
Okay. I'd like to ask. All right. In that case, folks, if you're watching this video on YouTube, be sure to give it a like. If you haven't liked it already while you're live, lick it. You can also leave your comments down below or in our Discord. Link is in the video description and on our channel page. Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get more of these videos, such as that upcoming Wanted on Izumo no Kuni. And, of course, always make sure to ring that bell for notifications so you always know when we post a new video or when we stream, such as when we stream kind of by surprise, like this. I did kind of mention that it might be live, but, you know, it was a little bit of a surprise. So ring the bell. You can also join our channel memberships, access to membership badges and emotes that you can see. Click the little join button in the description. And consider supporting us on Patreon. Like I said at the front of the show, you can get access to episodes early in audio format every week for as little as $1 a month, approximately $10 a year. At higher levels, you can watch us or listen in, I guess, though some watching is involved. Lucky usually streams some gameplay during parts of the process. Live every week if you're a high enough patron. So, you know, consider supporting us that way, helping us out. It's super cool. And, yeah, also, you know, just as a slight aside, obviously we do some other streams we talked about, like keep your eye out for Alan Wake. You know, we're streaming through Final Fantasy VII Remake right now also, and other things. But also, check out our actual plays. We're doing a little diversion right now where we're most of the way through. Should be one more episode we're planning on recording tomorrow, actually. But check out Incident at Benison Island if you haven't already. I know we're a little past the spook season, but it's pretty good. I think overall, we've been having a pretty good time. There have been some, you know, highs and lows for individual players, but overall, I think our opinion of the scenario is positive, and there have been some great moments that are very surprising that I will not spoil for you if you haven't listened to them, but you should go listen to the APs. And that's it for me this week, so I guess we'll see you guys next week for more Let's Talk FGO. Keep your eyes peeled for that one. That's it for me, folks. Good night, everybody.
Good night.